Live from Cal Lutheran University and George Sparky Anderson Field. It's a lovely Wednesday afternoon for some Oaks baseball right here on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Welcome, everybody. Along with Jordan Brenner, Sean McKinnon on hand. My name is Jonathan Ripken, welcoming you to today's matchup between the Conejo Oaks and the Arroyo Seco Saints, the first of four matchups between these two CCL opponents. First for the Conejo Oaks, coming off a loss yesterday, a heartbreaking loss, 6-5 with the tying runner straight on third base against the Santa Barbara Foresters. They'll look to redeem themselves here in the matchup against the Saints. The Saints on the other side, coming off of a 3-2 loss against the OC Riptide. They will look to as well try to redeem themselves after the one-run loss. The Oaks come into today at 5-6 overall, 4-6 in the CCL. The Saints come in at 2-8 overall, 2-6 in the CCL. We didn't have a lot of time for pregame, so we're going to get you right to the starting lineup. First for the Saints and then the Oaks field. I'll give you the Oaks lineup and then the Saints field here in the bottom of the first inning. Batting first and playing shortstop from Cal Poly Pomona is Drew Cowley. Gabriel Chavez, the returner for the Saints, is playing second base from Cal State Sam Bernardino. Batting in the 3rd spot and playing right field from USC is John Thomas. Cleaning up for the Saints and playing second base from New Mexico State is Cooper Williams. In the 5th spot, Tristan Peterson is DHing. He's undecided where he will go in the fall. Batting behind him, Christian Moya, playing center field from USC. Brennan McKenzie's batting in the 7th spot. In left field from Cal Poly Pomona as well, Colin Shepard in the 8th spot. Out at third base from Miami University of Ohio. And to round out the Saints order, batting 9th, Mitch Kerner, catching, and he is undecided where he will go in the fall. Their pitcher on the day will be Jonathan Rusamono from Corbin University in Salem, Oregon. The Oaks field looks for you as follows. From right to left, in the outfield, Michael Spears, Elijah Alexander, and Chase Cockrell. Bart West at first, Tyler Ryan at second, Will Pickett's at short, Sam Shaken at third behind the dish, Bryce Veet, and on the mound for the Oaks, getting his second start of the season, Aiden Dolan. Jordan, as we bring you here on the broadcast, obviously the Oaks played a very fun game yesterday. The team didn't explode for the offense, for the bulk of their offense until that 9th inning where they put up 4 runs, check that, actually 3 runs, but still made a ball game with the Foresters. Look, they took a loss, but I think overall it was a pretty good game and a good day for them. And there's a lot that they can take away from yesterday and bring it in today's matchup with the Saints.
You hit it right on the money right there, Jonathan. More positives than negatives. In yesterday's game, you competed against one of the best summer collegiate teams in the nation, and you didn't just compete with them, you really gave them a run for their money. And up until the 8th inning, I would argue the Oaks played as bad a game as they could have on the defensive side. They made plenty of errors. They walked a lot of batters as well. If they can clean up those things, next time that comeback will not fall short, but it will result in something like a walk-off win.
The Saints on the other side also coming off of a tough 2-3 loss against the defending CCL champion Orange County Riptide. They will be here, and they're very, very good. These two teams split the season series last year, though. Last year, in the final matchup on July 16th, there was a call at the plate. The game-winning call for the Arroyo Seco Saints. Gabriel Chavez came in sliding. The Oaks tried to apply the tag. They said he was safe. Coach Solis came out, argued with the umpire. The umpire said the game is over, leave. On the bus, head coach Solis and I looked back at the replay, and indeed, he was out, which meant that game should have gone to extra innings. So a little bit of a chip on the shoulder of Coach Solis and the Oaks staff because of that game, and they're going to look to come right at the Saints today, a Saints team that we haven't seen yet this season. And when we come back here from the national anthem, we'll talk more about it and give you the first pitch. You're watching Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. We'll be right back. Back here at George Sparky Anderson Field, the Oaks and the Saints, for the first time of 4 all season long, will play in their inaugural matchup of the season. The Saints are in their second year. There were 2 teams out of Arroyo Seco 2 years ago, the Arroyo Seco Sentinels and the Arroyo Seco Saints. The Oaks actually played the Sentinels in a 2-game matchup, but the Saints were the team that joined the CCL last year, finished 7th, missed the playoffs. This year, currently in the 6th spot, about 2 games behind the Oaks, looking to creep their way back up into the race. 2-6 in the CCL, 2-8 overall. But for the Oaks on the mound, as you see him warming up right there, is Aiden Dolan from Oxnard City College. Getting the nod here. He will be the normal Wednesday starter for the Oaks. Head coach Shalise has finally figured out the rotation. We are still missing Connor Queen, who's obviously playing in the College World Series with Texas Tech. But for right now, the rotation is solidified. For Dolan, who's currently on the mound taking warm-ups, as I mentioned, he has 2 starts. He has a 1-0 record, a 3.0 ERA in 6 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 runs, both were earned. Very good starter, has a lot of good stuff. Pitches for contact, but he can strike you out if you're not being careful because he knows how to get ahead in counts. So you see him whip a couple of fastballs in there. And that's going to be the key, I think, is Oaks pitchers getting ahead in counts. It's important that they get ahead in counts because if they don't, they're going to give up a lot of base runners like they did yesterday. They gave up 9 walks, including a hit or not including a hit batter. So 10 total free bases for the Foresters. The fact that the Oaks only lost that game by 1 was a blessing, but you can't do that game in and game out because it will catch up to you. And again, walks have been a big problem for the Oaks pitching staff. I do believe Aiden Dolan is the guy to help break that streak here today.
I agree with that. Dolan's been pretty impressive to me. A fastball, slider, splitter combination works very well. He controls the ball well down in the zone. Let's see if he can continue his strong play here today.
Drew Cowley from Pomona takes the first pitch upstairs for ball 1. 5:03 our start time. 75 degrees, wind blowing out to right. And it's sunny, a handful of fans in attendance today. The 1-0 offering from Dolan pops back out of play, 1-1 the count. Drew Cowley from Cal Poly Pomona in his first season. There are a couple of returners on this Saints roster, but not him. He is playing in his first ever CCL season. He's batting .355 in 39 plate appearances, and you can see why he's currently leadoff batter for this team. The 1-1, a strike over the outside corner.
I love how he's establishing that splitter in the first at-bat of the game. You see a lot of pitchers save their off-speed pitches for the second, third time through the order. I like that Dolan's coming right at this team, making the most out of the innings that he gets.
One of 2 Cal Poly Pomona products in the left-handed batter's box. Take that pitch outside, 2-2 the count. The Oaks are in their baby blues today. White letters on the front, outlined by navy blue. White letters on, or actually, navy blue numbers on the back. The Saints are in their navy blues with gold under the arms and white letters as that one is slapped to first. West will take it himself for out number 1. White letters on the front, outlined by gold and white numbers on the back for the Saints. Very clean finish on their uniforms. They also have the American flag over each of their numbers on their back. And now Gabriel Chavez will step in. The man who really gave the Oaks fits in the last 2 seasons with this team. He went 4 for 6 one game against the Oaks last year, and overall against the Oaks in the season, absolutely stellar, batted over 500. Pitches in the dirt for ball 1. He reminds me a lot of Jose Altuve. He doesn't strike out. He's very, very fast, and he knows how to get on base via small ball, or he can hit it out to the deep parts of the outfield as well. The 1-0. Slapped over the short Pickets. On the grounder, over to first for out number 2.
Good quick start. For once, it seems, for the Oaks. They have struggled so much in the early parts of games. We've talked about it all year long. The Oaks, when they have fallen behind very early in almost every game, and when they get the first run on the board, they're very tough to beat.
And now John Thomas from the University of Southern California, one of 2 USC Trojans in the Saints lineup. The Oaks, of course, have Bart West over at first base from USC as well. Thomas batting a stellar .577 right now, which leads the team. That pitch is low for ball 1. 5 RBIs, 15 hits in 34 plate appearances and 26 at-bats. A very great number for him. The 1-0 pitch bounces in the dirt. Bryce Vitt behind the dish, backhands it. 2-0 the count.
This Saints team is not going to beat you with the home run. They're going to try and, piece together rallies with multiple hits in an inning, and I think that works in the Oaks' favor.
Dolan offers the 2-0. Thomas slaps it foul. 2-1 the count.
See, Thomas, their 3-hole hitter, he didn't have a home run at USC this past year. He doesn't have a home run yet this year. That's rare to see out of your 3-hole hitter, a guy who's supposed to have, the most power on the team.
But with the way that he swings the bat, you can bet that he will muster up a couple of home runs. It could happen today with the wind in the left-handed batter's box.
It certainly could.
That pitch misses upstairs. It registered at 47 miles an hour on the gun, though. I think that was a miscount.
Yeah, that would be more like when I'm pitching on the mound with my torn labrum in my shoulder.
I don't even think that you can hit 47 miles an hour on the gun. 3-1, popped out of play. 3-2 the count now here to John Thomas. Nothing against you. I think before you tore your labrum, you probably could have hit probably 46, 47 miles an hour.
I touched 55
in my
heyday. But, yeah, unfortunately, I'm lobbing changeups over at 20 miles an hour these days.
That's your fastball, I thought.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dolan offers the payoff pitch. Cracked out down the first base line, and we'll do it again.
But even though I can't throw very hard, at least I enjoy the sport. It's nice to broadcast baseball every day of the summer. It's kind of like you're at one with the game. And really, that's for the first time in my entire life. It's been an enjoyable ride.
Payoff pitch 2.0. A beautiful breaking pitch off the end of the bat. Thomas fighting to stay alive here. Dolan trying to not give up his first walk here with 2 away in the first inning. Thomas batted .231 with the Trojans this past season. 8 starts, 25 total games played. 7 RBIs as well. 2-hopper over to second. Tyler Ryan going off the other side, and he will throw right over Bart West's head. Good block up, though, by Bryce Viet. Though I think that will be an infield single here for John Thomas. No, they're going to give an error to Tyler Ryan, though I do believe he would have been safe even if Tyler Ryan could have made that catch because he was going to his weak side.
Yeah, I agree with that call. That's a tough play over at second base for Ryan. You'll see guys in the major leagues unable to make that play. But a really heads-up play by Bryce Viet. I mean, those are plays in yesterday's game that were not there that cost the Oaks the game. Maybe a little bit sharper today. Great heads-up play by Viet.
Backing up your fielders is a job that many catchers fail to do as the first pitch is a strike to Cooper Williams.
And Dolan was the first to let Viet know how happy he was there to back it up. That's a long run for a catcher to make on such a routine play.
Williams batting .222 so far. 1 home run. The only home run for the Saints this season. Cuts and misses on that one for strike 2.
Yeah, it looks like the splitter's the primary off-speed option for Dolan today.
And I actually just misspoke. Tristan Peterson, who's batting 5th in the lineup, also has a home run. So 2 home runs on the season for the Saints, and they come from the guys who are batting 4th and 5th in this lineup. 0-2 pitch, misses up and away. 1-2 the count. Dolan out ahead, and we talked that this is a key to the game for him. Stay out ahead of batters, and if he can do that, it'll keep these batters off balance, it'll keep them guessing, and he'll have a lot of pitchers to work with, which is what you want as a starter. You want to be able to play with your pitches, especially when you're developing them. 1-2 pitch. Oh, beautiful breaking pitch, but it's called a ball.
Yeah, where did that miss? I'm not sure. That
looked like it was frisbeed over the heart of the plate.
You know what happened there? The umpire must have been fooled by the nastiness of that pitch.
Started up at 12, ended at 6, but somehow missed. Runner on first, 2 away, 2's across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Top of the first inning. Williams swings that bat over his left shoulder. A lot of lefties in this Saints lineup, and cuts that one foul back out of play.
2 straight off-speed pitches that you've seen from Dolan. Now, my brother, it's time to reach back and throw and buy him. I think that's the pitch you go to right here.
You were right yesterday in some of your calls.
I'd say my percentage is pretty good this year.
Not with answering my trivia questions.
That's a different story. We'll try again today.
The 2-2 offering here from Dolan. Cracked foul. And Williams really staying alive. There is some sort of bike relay going on the softball field where they're.
It's odd.
Well, I think what they're doing, I think they're all cyclers in the area, and they're training on the softball field. So, riding on grass is hard. It's really hard in the knees. So they're out in the softball field behind us, and I hope that baseball didn't hit one of them. Last thing you want. I mean, they are wearing helmets, so I guess that they come protected, but still.
That's why you wear helmets when you bike.
2-2 pitch. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. As Reed Wallace once said, the ball doesn't lie, and there the curveball gets called for strike number 3. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left on base. The bottom of the first. After this, no score on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Back here in the bottom of the first inning, he is Jordan Brenner, Sean McKinnon, our producer on hand, myself, Jonathan Rifkin. Happy to be with you on a Wednesday afternoon, turning evening here in Thousand Oaks, California. The Oaks were able to stifle the Saints in the top of the first inning. Now we'll give you the lineup for the Caneo Oaks in the field for the Arroyo Seco Saints. Batting first and playing third base from Valparaiso, Sam Shaken. Brandon Lewis behind him, DHing from UC Irvine. In the 3 spot, Elijah Alexander playing center field from UTRGV, that's the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. In the cleanup spot for the Oaks in his second game of the season, though he did go 4 for 5 yesterday in his debut in 2018, Chase Cockrell out of Ole Miss playing left field. In the 5th spot from USC and playing first base is Bart West. Batting behind him in the 6th spot is Tyler Ryan playing second base. Michael Spears is in the 7th spot, playing right field from Ole Miss. In the 8th spot, Bryce Vitt catching from Pierce. And in the 9th spot, Will Pickett's playing shortstop from Pierce, but headed to Cal State Bakersfield in the fall. On the mound for the Saints is Jonathan Racimano from Corbin University. Their field looks as follows. From right to left in the outfield, John Thomas, Christian Moya, and Brennan McKenzie. Cooper Williams is at first, Gabriel Chavez at second, Drew Cowley over at short, Colin Shepard occupies third, and the catcher is Mitch Kerner. As I mentioned on the mound, Jonathan Racimano, he has yet to give up a run, in his first 4 innings of work this season. Toes the rubber as Sam Shaken steps in. And the first pitch of the Valparaiso Crusader is low and away for ball 1.
And also for Racimano, 6 strikeouts in 4 innings pitched. You know he can get outs in a lot of different ways, including the K.
Shaken on the season batting .256, the 1-0. Slapped foul into the urban farm here at Cal Lutheran. A wonderful little facility there. All sorts of animals. The roosters were making the cockle-doodle-doo noise. I'm not exactly sure what the name for the noise is, but that's what they were doing earlier. They have some snakes there. They have some wonderful plants. The facilities here at Cal Lutheran are top-notch.
I think cock-a-doodle-doo
works well. Curveball in there for strike 2. A 71-mile-an-hour frisbee looper. What a throw there from Racimano. Has Shaken behind in the count. To go along with that .256 batting average, he is tied for first on the team with singles with 8. 3 runs, 4 RBIs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. The 1-2. A curveball. This one he gets under it, but it's popped up very high into the infield. Chavez calls for it at second base and makes the catch for out number 1.
Jonathan, what do you think about leading off Brandon Lewis in this lineup. The on-base percentage is sky high. You move Alexander into the 2 and Cockrell into the 3. Then you're rocking and rolling at the start of games.
I just don't think he's a leadoff kind of guy. I think it's the mindset, the mentality. I don't think he has the leadoff mentality.
I think the biggest hole in this lineup is the lack of a true leadoff hitter.
But Sam Shakin has been making a name for himself in that spot. He never led off last year as far as I can remember, but sometimes things change. Another curveball, the first one here to Lewis in there for strike 1.
I'll say this about Shakin. He's squaring balls up. He's just ripping them foul right now. I think he's got to start thinking the opposite way, and then you're going to see his average creep on up.
Lewis leads the Oaks in total bases with 20. He also leads the Oaks in stolen bases with 5. Foul tips that one into the glove of Kerner for strike 2. Leads the team in hits with 13. Leads the team in doubles with 4. 289 batting average. 7 runs, 1 homer, 5 RBIs. Waves that bat high over his right shoulder. Rasmono offers, though, 2. In the dirt, 1-2 the count. Lewis was originally committed to CSUN last year. Decommitted, played another year at Pierce, and is now going to Irvine. Stops that one over to short. Cowley on the third hop. Deals it over the first in time for out number 2.
That was one of the best pitches I have seen all year right there, and I'll tell you why. Brandon Lewis put as good a swing as possible. He could have known where that ball was and not produced better contact than that. Started at his head, ended up at the knees on the inside corner. Literally an unhittable pitch.
But Lewis was able to get a bat on it, though.
Yeah, I mean, I said it. He did a good job fighting that pitch off.
So Rasimono this past year for Corbin University in the NAIA, 4.87 ERA, 2-1 record, and 15 appearances, none starts. That curveball over to Elijah Alexander's a 2-hopper to Chavez, and he mishandles it at second, allowing Elijah Alexander to reach first base. And how about this? In the top of the first inning, the Saints grounded out to first, grounded out to short, and then reached first base, due to an error on the second baseman. Here, the Oaks pop up the second, ground out to short, and then reach first base on an error by the second baseman. It's almost like they're mimicking each other here in the first inning.
Hopefully Chase Cockrell can, break the trend a bit and make that runner at first matter.
Chase Cockrell is 4 for 5 so far in the season. Joined the team yesterday after a great year with Ole Miss, where he was named a finalist for College Player of the Year. The 0-0, curveball that misses up and in for ball 1. And you have to be careful with those curveballs to Cockrell, because the reason that Rasimono is so effective is because of how slowly he pitches them. If you're pitching a 71-mile-an-hour curveball and you miss in the strike zone, Cockrell will jack that one out of here. Rasimono offers the 1-0. Almost hits Cockrell as he moves out of the way. 2-0 the count. Runner on first in Elijah Alexander. Takes a step-and-a-half lead off of first base with 2 away. I would not expect him to try to steal as Rasimono toes the rubber and tries to pick him off, I should say. Great throw, but Alexander slides back in safely. Williams had that glove right on Alexander.
I have no problem with Alexander taking off and trying to steal second base here. You got to be aggressive early in the game. The only way you score Alexander here is on a bomb or a gapper, which is pretty unlikely, even with Cockrell.
2-0 pitch, slice in the shallow center field, and he's doing what he did yesterday, getting another single here. Chase Cockrell now starts his Oaks campaign of 2018, going 5 for 6. He advances Elijah Alexander to second base.
Chase Cockrell hits even when he doesn't get solid contact,
I think he broke his bat on that hit, too.
Yeah, this guy is uncomfortable when he's not on base. That's the easiest way I can put it, and he likes to be comfortable. That's why he's on base so often.
Third for Ole Miss in batting. In terms of average, a 324 stint. Bart West now checking in here for the Oaks in his first at-bat. Runners on first and second and 2 away.
Fresh off that clutch hit in the 9th last night.
He really showed why he's going to be a force to be reckoned with the Trojans this upcoming season, as that first pitch is a curveball in there for strike 1. Yesterday, the Oaks put up a big 3 runs in the 9th inning, though he stranded the game-tying run at third base on the strikeout by Bryce Vitt. But Bart West, man, he had such a clutch. A 1-2 count with 2 away, and he RBIs a guy in to keep the inning alive for the Oaks. Rusimono steps off after checking Alexander back to second base. And on the season, so far for Mr. West, batting a clean .344. Leads the team, though. Chase Cockrell technically leads the team, though. His sample size is a little bit smaller than Bart West. Leads the team, though, with walks with 7 and strikeouts with 13. His bat flies out of his hands as he foul tips that one. No, it cracked. It just sawed in half. The entire from the handle up went down to the third base. I've never seen a bad break like that. It broke on the tape.
And it's also a brand new bat that the Oaks bought last week. I mean, they got a shipment in. That's one of the new ones. Maybe not the best investment. We'll see. If he gets a hit here, I'll defend their money spent on those bats.
The composite wood bats, some of the nicest in the game.
They do look nice.
Well, at least they look nice. Now we're not so sure after the fact that it broke on the tape, which I've never seen. He didn't even hit the ball very hard. Has to question the manufactured durability of these bats. No balls, 2 strikes. Runners on first and second, 2 away. Rusimono offers. Popped up, but out of play, and we'll do it again.
That was the pitch that West had to hit. That was center cut, a fastball at the letters. You don't get a better pitch than that. That's a pitch. As he matures as a baseball player, that pitch will be in left center field.
But it was also the expectation. He was late on it, right? On an 0-2 count, he was probably expecting a breaking pitch.
Right,
and so
you have to anticipate that.
Absolutely. So, again, it's just about adjustment, and that's part of being in a development league. West is one of the best in the game. Takes a curveball in the dirt, 1-2 the count. And the way that he swings, when you watch him swing, you know, he doesn't have a lot of power coming out of his legs, but the way that he moves his arms, it's hard to jam him because he can bring that bat back. It's hard to pitch outside because he can extend. He's very good at putting the bat on the ball.
It's a quick bat.
Oh, absolutely. And if you can utilize that, which he does when he figures out more consistently how to utilize that as that pitch is inside for a ball, he will be a very scary hitter. Right now, he's still a very scary hitter, but again, developing, honing those skills, and as the season progresses, I would expect him to be a very, very consistent hitter here for the Oaks.
He's so impressive because he barrels the ball up more than almost anybody on this team.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, 2 on. Bottom of the first, the offering. Slapped over to third on the third hop. Shepard takes it himself and beats Alexander to the bag for out number 3. The Oaks ran a pair on no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and no score here through 1. Top of the second when we come back on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Tristan Peterson, the DH in today's game, will step in here. No score, top of the second inning, and Aiden Dahlin will back on the mound to deal. We left him off with a strikeout as he pitches a strike right there to kick off the inning. Peterson so far in the 2018 campaign, 133 batting average in 24 plate appearances. Takes that one, a ball inside, 1-1 the count. As Dolan, quickly offers that pitch. Check swing. No, he did not go around. Low and inside. By the way, Tristan Peterson just finished up his campaign at New Mexico State. Look at the transfer in the fall, the 2-1. Popped up, sky high into center field. Alexander has plenty of room, though, as he veers to his left and makes the catch for out number 1. What a way for Christian Moya, the third USC Trojan we have seen in this game, along with Bart West for the Oaks and John Thomas, the other Saint Trojan.
I will venture that Elijah Alexander is the best defensive outfielder that we have seen this year.
Of all the teams that have played?
Yes. He is so smooth, and his routes are so efficient in center field.
First pitch is in there for strike 1. And we've seen him make some great throws, too. I would say that is definitely a pretty fair statement. We've seen some pretty good outfielders, though. For all intents and purposes, that one misses for ball 1, 1-1 the count.
And we haven't seen him lay out and make a diving grab. But that's because his speed is so great that ball's in the gap, he just gets to. He doesn't have to get on the floor.
The 1-1, slapped way fast down the line, but out of play.
He's
one. See the pitch.
Sorry, Jonathan.
You're good.
He's one of those guys where he just makes the game look easy on the defensive side. Some of the best outfielders or infielders in the major leagues, you don't think they're that great because they don't make spectacular plays, but they make all the hard ones.
I think the other outfielder that I would say is that pitch is taken for strike 3 on the inside corner. Roya goes down looking, the second strikeout on the game here for Dolan, and that puts out number 2 on the board. The other guy I would say that, at least in the CCL, could compete with Alexander for what we have seen as one of the best outfielders is Roosevelt Barnes from the Barons. He got drafted in the 34th round by Cleveland, or actually by Cincinnati, last year. He decided to go play college at Morehouse College. He's really, really good, and he had some great throws in the Oak Series so far against the Barons, and I would expect that he will at least get a nod for one of the top fielders as well out there. First pitch is inside to Brendan McKenzie.
Yeah, I agree with Roosevelt Barnes. That guy can fly.
Brendan McKenzie batting 100 on the season. Does have a triple, though. Takes that pitch in the dirt. 2-0 the count. Feel free to tweet at us at Caneo_Oaks. I'm at Johnny Riff. He's at Jordan Brenner 31. I almost gave you my Twitter handle. Does that mean I have 10,000 fake followers?
It's down to 6,000.
You're starting to weed them out a little bit.
Yeah.
That pitch is a strike on the inside corner, 2-1 the count.
And manually, I might add.
So you've gone through. So for those who are just joining us, Jordan Brenner in the first game of the season, I basically interrogated him. He had over 10,000 Twitter followers, and he admitted to a friend buying them for him as a joke as that pitch is low, 3-1 the count.
It was a practical joke that I was not a part of.
Obviously you ended up being a part of it because it was on your Twitter account.
I was not in charge of facilitating.
Anyways, going along with the story, Jordan talked about how he needed to start working on finding who were the real followers and who were the fake followers. So to go through 4,000 so far as that pitch is a strike over the heart of the plate, 3-2 the count to McKenzie. The fact that you've been putting in the effort, you've already gone through 4,000 accounts, means, number one, you have a lot of time on your hands, and number two, that you've really been doing your due diligence to give us an accurate account of your Twitter followers. The slap over to third, Pickett's mishandles it, and that was the short, my mistake. Goes into center field, and McKenzie's on with 2 away here in the top of the second inning. And that'll be the first hit of the ballgame for the Saints.
Yeah, while you go home and you do, advanced research trying to fix the world, I sit in the bathtub, you get a glass of juice and you go through your Twitter followers.
In what medium are you using in the bathtub? Because I'm not going to bring my phone or my laptop anywhere near a bathtub.
No, I use my phone. I keep it on the outside. It's no problem.
I wish I had the luxury of taking a bath. Runner on first, 2 away. First pitch to Colin Shepard is outside for ball one. That was not a shot, Brennan, by the way, just so you know it. I'm just saying I just haven't had a lot of time for baths lately. Anyways, back to baseball. 1-0 count here to Colin Shepard from Miami University of Ohio. That pitch is in the dirt. 2-0 the count. Drew Vitt looks back. McKenzie over to first base. No runs, a hit, 1 error on both sides so far in this ball game. Hope everybody's enjoying their Wednesday afternoon. No matter how you're watching or where you're watching, we appreciate you making us a part of your Wednesday plans. The 2-0 pitch from Dahlin. Whipped upstairs, ball 3. And now another topic that we've been discussing, flows. Aiden Dahlin has a pretty nice flow.
The best on the team, not even close.
Oh, definitely the best on the team. But talking about Academy Barons, they had a man with a really nice flow, and Andrew Wilson as well. Do you think that Andrew Wilson has a nicer flow than Aiden Dahlin? 3-0 pitch is a strike at the knees, 3-1 the count.
I remember talking to Andrew Wilson, and that guy just embodies the surfer mentality, if you remember what I mean, Jonathan. I mean, good ball player.
Great ball player, absolutely.
Yeah. I actually think, Dylan might get mad at me if he hears this, but I think Wilson has the edge.
3-1. And the dirt, ball 4. Colin Shepard walks on 5 pitches. That puts runners on first and second here with 2 away. First walk on the game. Third walk all season long, given up by Dahlin. And I give Dahlin the edge because he's a pitcher. It's hard to pitch with a flow because it can get all in your face. You know, you're whipping it around. You know, Wilson was an outfielder. Not taking anything away from him. He's a great outfielder, a great baseball player, Marymount, California University player. But because Dahlin is a pitcher and he has to deal with the flow as well as the mound, I give him the edge.
Wilson has to deal with it at the plate. I think that's even more bothersome.
Mitch Kerner steps in and takes a strike on the outside corner. Undecided where he's going in the fall, playing catcher in today's game. Trying to keep this inning alive here for the Saints. 2 on, 2 away, no score.
Second on the team with a .556 average.
Oh, yeah. No, he has been stellar.
Only 10 plate appearances, though.
But to be able to get 5 hits in 9 at-bats and 10 plate appearances is pretty good. The 0-1. Cracked down the line and foul. 0-2 the count. You can see why they have him at the bottom of the order. Because in situations like this with 2 away and you have 2 on, you have a guy who can hit the ball really well in the 9 spot, try to inject some offense into this lineup. And you'll see coaches do that. Head coach Solis does that with Tanner Wright, who hits the ball very well for the Oaks. He'll be sitting in the 9 spot, and he was starting in the leadoff spot to begin the season, but moved down to the 9 spot because he hit the ball so well that if the Oaks had players on in the order, then he would come on and drive them in. That's the same philosophy here with the Saints and Mitch Kerner. Saints, as I mentioned earlier, in their second season in the CCL. The youngest team right now as that pitch is slapped foul, 0-2 again.
Look out, Angus Denton. Oh, my goodness.
Barely even flinched.
That's how they grow them down in the South.
Angus is available today, though. Coach Solis wants to save the bulk of these arms for the road trip. This is the final 2-game homestand. The Oaks will have a day off tomorrow and Friday. We'll be up at Healdsburg on Saturday for a doubleheader at 3 and 6 o'clock, and then on Sunday for a 10 o'clock game. The 0-2 pitch. Cracked over to third. Shaken will make the tag. On to Brennan McKenzie. And they're saying that he was safe, but I'm not exactly sure why that call was made because Shaken applied the tag.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the reaction of McKenzie, I mean, he thought he was out too. Shaken thought he was out. He ran right to the dugout. And now, I mean, if Shaken didn't think he applied the tag, he would have thrown it to first.
Right, and that's what his first initial reaction was. He was looking at first base and then realized, well, Brennan McKenzie's right in front of me. I might as well just slap the ball on him, and that's what he did. So I'm not exactly sure why the umpire thought that he was safe.
That's a terrible call.
Now they're going to discuss. Head coach Solis right now on the season is 1 for 1 in getting calls reversed. We'll see here if he can do it again. Again, this is I would say I would be remiss if I said that I would be absolutely shocked if they didn't return this call. As everybody is a little shocked. There we go. They call him out, and that will end the inning. An unassisted 5 tag out brings us to the bottom of the second inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. We're through 1.5. The Oaks have Ryan Spears and Vit 2 up here in the bottom of the second after this on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Bottom of the second inning. Tyler Ryan will lead us off here for the Conejo Oaks. No score, both teams with a hit and an error from the University of the Pacific. Broke out of his slump a couple days ago, though yesterday came in as a pinch hitter for Zach Kamenko in the 8th spot in the 8th inning and struck out looking in his lone at-bat against the Foresters. From the University of the Pacific, Resamano deals the first pitch in there for strike 1. Tyler Ryan is batting .154 on the season. 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. He has been hit by a pitch as well. 1 RBI, 3 runs scored.
Is that Eric Ma up in the bullpen?
Looks like Eric Ma is up and stretching and doing some light tossing as that pitch is low for ball 1 and 1-1 the count. Though again, the Oaks like to warm up pitches sometimes early.
Right, because these guys are used to starting games. They need more time to prepare for getting in there.
Exactly, and Eric Ma may also not end up coming into the game. He might be throwing an early bullpen session. You never know with these guys. They have 2 days off, so no practices. That pitch, check swung, though Ryan committed. 1-2 the count on the curveball.
Always a pleasure to see Eric on the mound.
He has been stellar for the Oaks so far this season, after redshirting his sophomore year with Whitman College. We'll get more on him, though, if he comes out. The 1-2 here from Rosamano. Slapped up the middle and into center field. Tyler Ryan makes something out of nothing with the 1-2 count. And the Oaks get a leadoff runner on here in the bottom of the second inning.
I love the in-at-bat adjustment Tyler Ryan just made. You saw on the pitch that produced the second strike, Tyler Ryan was fooled out of his tennis shoes. Okay, he had no idea. That was an ugly swing. He had no idea it was coming. It was a bad swing. And then the next pitch, he sees another curveball. He lines it into center field. You like to see that from your team.
And the problem with throwing slow curveballs is eventually the team will catch up to it, and it can cause trouble for you. Runner on first, nobody out, and Michael Spears from Ole Miss stepping in, slaps that one foul for strike one. Spears had a good day yesterday in the 5th spot. Got on base 3 times. He had 2 hits. Ended up going 2 for 4. He also walked once and had 2 runs scored, including the final run scored in the ball game back in the 9th inning yesterday. That made the game 6-5. The Oaks end up stranding the game-tying run, though, on third base thereafter. 0-1 pitch. Ryan goes the throw. And no, he's going to go back wisely as that throw was high to Chavez. He had to jump to make the grab. That pitch missed, by the way. 1-1 the count here to the Ole Miss Rebel. Very wise play by Ryan, though. He might have been safe because of how high that throw was from Kerner to Chavez.
Yeah, not a great jump. He didn't know the throw was going to be high. I think the catcher, Kerner, was actually a little bit distracted when he turned back. And that's why you saw the errant throw. But you don't want to produce outs on the base paths, ever. So a wise play by Ryan. At least he's still on base.
Spears digging back in here. Russamano toes the rubber and offers the 1-1. A curveball sliced down the left field line. That's going to be fair and good for extra bases. Rounding second, going to third is Ryan. Coach Wilson is waving him home. The throw from Shepard in will not be in time. Michael Spears gets the Oaks on the board here with an RBI double. 1-0 score in the bottom of the 2nd inning with nobody out.
Great swing by Michael Spears there. They're catching up to the curveball. They're talking on the bench, telling each other what that curveball is like. 2 straight liners off the curveball, and the Oaks finally getting on the board first. You'd love to see that from this team.
On second base is Michael Spears, getting his 2nd RBI of the season, and he is continuing to stay hot after an 0-18 stint. But he is very, very good, and he's showing it right now. Bryce Vitt stepping in and takes that first pitch low and away for ball 1. Vitt yesterday was the last out of the ball game. He struck out swinging from Pierce Junior College. Waves that bat high over his right shoulder. Russamano deals the 1-0. Slice into left center field, and that's going to drop. Is Wilson going to wave? No. Spears will put on the brakes and go back to second. Quickly bringing that ball was Mackenzie the Cowley. Very wise out there in left field. And now there are runners up the corners with 1 out. Actually, no outs. Wow. 3 consecutive hits here to begin the 2nd inning for the Oaks. By the way, coming into this game, Bryce Vitt was batting at a 188 mark, though he did lead the team with 2 triples. Now there's going to be a conversation here with the Saints coaching staff. Head coach Sean Buller in his first season, though he is a local guy, had an illustrious college and professional career, is now the head coach at Loyola High School in Los Angeles. He was actually drafted out of the University of San Francisco, where he was an All-West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year. He signed with the Detroit Tigers in 1998 as an undrafted free agent. He played AAA ball for 95 games, but in 2001, after a 20-15 record and a 4.5 ERA, he ended up hurting his arm and ending his career. He was then signed as the head coach for Mayfair High School in Southern California. Then was a pitcher for Long Beach Armada, which is a Golden Baseball League independent league team. And then decided to go coach high school ball and coach here in the CCL. Great expertise as Will Pickett steps in and pops that pitch back. And way out of play for strike 1, though the sun caught that ball, so nobody in the field really knew exactly where it was going to land. Runners at the corners, nobody away. 1 around in the inning for the number 9 hitter in the batting lineup, Will Pickett. On the season for the Pierce Junior College product, turned into Cal State Bakersfield Road Runner as he steps back. And I'll give you his stats here after this pitch, the 0-1. A strike on the outside corner. An 0-67 stint, though he leads the team with hit by pitches with 3. He also has walked 5 times, striking out 4. He does not strike out very often. He is very, very good at putting the bat on the ball. He's also a very patient hitter. And right now he's behind the count 0-2, though I would expect him to try to work the count here and try to find a way on base. Russamano deals the 0-2, popped up into foul territory towards first base. And Williams makes the catch for out number 1. Runners stay put at the corners.
Sorry, Jonathan. This is where the Oaks have to break this game wide open. You have Shagan and Lewis, your next 2 up. This is the meat of the order. These are your best hitters. You have runners on base, less than 2 outs. It's time to produce a crooked number.
Back to the top of the order for Sam Shaken. He's 0 for 1, popped out to second his first time up. Shoulders the bat. Russamano offers the first pitch. Skied high to shallow right center field. Looks like John Thomas out of right field will make the catch for out number 2. Was it enough? No. And wisely, Michael Spears will put on the brakes over at third base.
It's up to B. Lou.
Michael Spears, by the way, is wearing number 10 in today's game, though he is number 18 on the roster. Number 10 is normally Kyle Velasquez, who we haven't seen for a while. So just maybe a change today. Nonetheless, though, 2 away. Spears is on third, and Brandon Lewis striding in. Lewis on the day 0 for 1. Grounded out to short his first time up, though. This is a good spot for him to be in. He likes these 2-out situations with an opportunity to get a couple of runners across home plate. Russamano from the belt deals the 1-0. High to right field, but going very foul for strike 1. Wind picking up, and Brandon Lewis is a very good opposite field hitter. We saw yesterday, Bill Pintart's squad, the Santa Barbara Foresters, were shading him to the right every single time he came up. He likes to utilize the jet stream, which is the right field wind that is always persistent here at Cal Lutheran, to try and push that ball out. Russamano peers and fires the 0-1. Big swing and a miss for strike 2.
And Brandon Lewis has been swinging and missing at quite a few pitches in the past few games. Cooled off a little bit since his hot start to the season.
Takes a wide stance in the right-handed batter's box. Russamano toes the rubber and offers the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Lewis goes down swinging for out number 3. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, and a pair left on base here for the Oaks. We're through 2 full from Sparky Anderson Field. The Oaks lead 1-0 right here on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Top of the third inning, Jordan Brenner and myself, Jonathan Rifkin, with you here from George Sparky Anderson Field. The Oaks were able to muster a run here in the bottom of the second inning, and the Saints will look to try to push here, though the Oaks have a new pitcher on the mound in the form of Eric Ma from Whitman College. Aiden Dollins Day has done 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. A pretty good short start for him, as Eric Ma will step in here to face Drew Calley at the top of the order. First pitch is a strike at the letters. On the season for Eric Ma, the Oaks returner, and he redshirted, by the way, his last year, his sophomore season with Whitman. 4 appearances, I should say, 9 innings pitched. He has a 1-0 record and a 1 ERA. Cowley cracks that one foul for strike 2. He's 0 for 1 on the day with a ground out to first his first time up. Along with those stats, Eric Ma has 9 strikeouts to 3 walks in those 9 innings, and the pitch that has been doing the most damage is that splitter that he throws oh so well. Deals the 0-2. This is up and away, 1-2 the count.
He almost throws it like a knuckleball. You know, he can throw it in any count. It moves all over the place. And that's not to, knock him at all. I think it's a major positive.
1-2 pitch, popped up down the left field line, going to the wall, but it goes foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count remains. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for the Oaks. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Arroyo Seco Saints. Cal Poly Pomona product. Digs back in here, 1 of 4 lefties in the starting lineup. Takes a couple of twirls of the bat, shoulders it, and Ma offers the 1-2. Fastball missing away, 2-2 the count. Two. High to left field, but once again foul. Goes into the Oaks bullpen. The Oaks do have a pitcher up and warming up. That's Kevin Holcomb, getting some early bullpen practicing sessions. We'll see how long Eric Ma's relief appearance will be. Most of the game is already set, though. If things get out of hand, head coach Lee's always shake it up. 2-2 pitches a fastball, once again fouled down the line. Brandon Ponticelli coming out to give our umpire some fresh baseballs on an off day after starting yesterday. A pretty good start against the Foresters. 1 run, it was unearned. 1 hit, 2 walks, or actually 4 walks, 2 strikeouts from the Kansas Jayhawk. 2-2. Splitter outside, 3-2 the count.
And this is where Eric Ma needs the most development. A little more velocity on the fastball. Get hitters just a little bit more out in front of the splitter, and maybe a development of a slider.
Payoff pitch. Popped up, this time to the right side of the field. Right to Tyler Ryan on the right field grass, and he makes the catch for out number 1.
And what do I know? Eric Ma reaching back for 86, 2 miles an hour more than his fastest pitch today.
And he got the result he wanted on that 86-mile-an-hour fastball. Gabriel Chavez now stepping in. He's 0 for 1, the speedy second baseman from Cal State San Bernardino. Looking to do to the Oaks this year what he did to them last year, where he batted over 500 against this team and absolutely gave them fits every single time these two teams played. Takes that pitch to the knees for strike 1. Actually, was swinging and missed, excuse me. But to give you just a little bit of a taste, on July 8th last year, the Oaks lost 7-6, and Chavez ended up reaching base 4 times. 3 for 4 as that pitch is grounded to third, shaken over to first for out number 2. The one time he did not reach, or he did not get a credit with the hit, was on an error. But to go 3 for 4 in that game was pretty special, especially because Oaks had Nate Wenner on the mound, one of their stellar pitchers. Nonetheless, though, today he's 0 for 2 so far, and that's 2 outs up on the board.
25, John Thomas.
And Sam Shaken, how about his day at third base? He has been amazing no matter where you put him in the field. You can play him at short, second, or third base. and you always know you're going to get a positive result out of him. John Thomas steps in and takes a strike at the knees. He's 0 for 1 today, reached on an error back in the first inning, but was stranded on first base thereafter. Ma peers and fires the 0-1 in the dirt. Good backhand by Bryce Vitt. Evens the count. That was at 87. His velocity slowly creeping up here as we hit the middle part of June.
That's a great sign.
Deals the 1-1. Thomas takes it low and inside. 2-1 the count. Whitman College up in Walla Walla, Washington. A summer collegiate team up there, the Walla Walla Sweets for the West Coast League, actually asked Eric Ma to come play for them. But he said, no, I'm going to go back down to Southern California and play with the Oaks, as that one is a one-hopper right into Bart West's glove. He tags first base. And the Saints are retired in order here in the top of the third inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Eric Ma gets the job done here in his first inning of work. The Oaks lead 1-0. We'll be right back. Elijah Alexander will lead things off here for the Oaks to kick off their half of the third inning. Up 1-0. Looking to continue the day that the offense started in the second inning, where they got a couple on in 3 hits and scored 1 run. He is 0 for 1 today. Reached first base by way of a second baseman error. That was Gabriel Chavez out there. But for all intents and purposes, Alexander has been playing pretty well so far this season, as the first pitch here from Russamano is popped out for strike 1. 242 batting average coming into today, though he leads the Oaks with home runs and RBIs, 2 and 8 in those categories. And you can bet when runners are on base, you want a bat in this guy's hand, because he knows how to bring them in. Shows bunt, pulls it back, pitches low, 1-1 the count. As I mentioned earlier for the Oaks, this is final of a 2-game homestand for them. Thursday and Friday are days off, though Friday is not much of a day off because most of the day will be spent on a bus on the 8-hour drive north to Santa Rosa.
I'll be there.
The 1-1. Swung on a miss for strike 2, as will I. We'll have the call for you at 3 o'clock, 2:45 on Saturday for the game number 1 against the Healdsburg Pooh Packers, and then at 6 o'clock, 5:45 for pregame show for game number 2 on Saturday, and then 9:45 pregame show, 10 a.m. start time on Sunday. That'll be an early one, but nothing like early Sunday baseball to kick off that day for you. That pitch misses low and away, 2-2 the count here to Alexander.
I grew up watching baseball at 10 a.m. You know, my Nationals will play on the East Coast on Saturdays and Sundays. They get that 10 a.m. Pacific start time.
That's what we'll have for you on Sunday. 2-2. High and deep to right field. Thomas at the wall and jumps and makes a catch at the line. Well done by John Thomas. And that puts out number 1 on the board.
Great swing from Alexander. He's, like I said earlier today, he squares balls up quite often. He's not finding the gaps quite yet, but a productive at-bat, not quite productive, but a positive at-bat and a good swing from Alexander there.
Chase Cockrell now stepping in. He's 1 for 1 today. The only time he's been 0 for is yesterday when he had 1 miscue all game long and a 4 for 5 start. Takes that pitch at the knees for strike 1. He singled back up the middle in the first inning to give the Oaks their first hit of the ball game, but he was stranded on first base thereafter. From Ole Miss, batted .324 with them. Was a semifinalist for the top college baseball player. 0-1 pitch is a curveball slapped into the Oaks dugout as a couple of the Conejo Oaks veering away from it. 0-2 the count to Cockrell.
Yeah, the Oaks in the dugout moving like bowling pins with the roller over there.
Cockrell trying to bowl a strike right there.
Oh, yeah.
Rosamano offers the 0-2. And it hits him on the left hip. He'll toss that back over to the dugout. And stride over the first base. And after an 0-2 count, Rosamano hands over a base here with 1 away to Chase Cockrell.
Even when Cockrell's defeated in the at-bat, he still gets on base.
That's what you want out of your star player, whether it be here at Ole Miss or at the next level, which will be undoubtedly some stardom for Cockrell if he continues doing what he did last season with Ole Miss and what he's going to do this season with the Oaks. Has still been able to reach base every single time but 1 in the first 8 at-bats of the season. As Bart West steps in, he's 0 for 1 with a ground out to first, his first time up. The first pitch is upstairs for ball 1. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for the Oaks. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Saints here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Rosamano toes the rubber, Pearson fires the 1-0, low and away. Kerner couldn't hold on, but it doesn't matter. Cockrell stayed put at first base. 2-0 the count. I like the catching gear that Mitch Kerner is wearing. It matches to the T, the color of the Arroyo Seco Saints jersey colors. It's not common you see that in the CCL where the catcher's gear will reflect the team's colors, as that one has popped up into the infield. Cooper out at first base, calls for it and makes the catch on the infield grass for out number 2. Most of the catchers just wear the catching gear from their respective schools, or they'll just go to Dick's Sporting Goods and buy some. But pretty nice job by Kerner to at least pick out the gear that reflects his team colors. I really, really like when a catcher shows some pride in that respect as well. 2 away, 1 on. Tyler Ryan stepping in. Singled and then came around to score the game's only run back in the 2nd inning from the University of the Pacific. Rosamano deals the 0-0. Hacked at and missed for strike 1. Ballpark is starting to liven up a little bit, though. It's only a handful of fans on either side on a quiet Wednesday afternoon. Most of the games will be 5 o'clock starts from here on out for the next few weeks, just because Cal Lutheran has a children's baseball camp called Lou Dogs that ends at 4 o'clock. The 0-1 misses. The back pick attempt is mishandled by Williams at first base, though I think Cockrell would have been safe regardless. 0-2 the count. That was a good jump by Kerner. Williams, if he turned a little bit quicker, I think he would have been able to apply the tag in time, but regardless, he fumbled that ball. The Oaks have to be careful. They have been on the bad end of a back pick once this season already, as well as a pickoff. Rosamano from the belt and the stretch. The 0-2. Popped up but out of play. Tyler Ryan just trying to stay alive here. Deemed the man with two first names. I asked him if that was a common thing he's heard. He said yes. Yes, indeed. Tyler Ryan, Ryan Tyler. He says people mess up my name all of the time. Both are great names, so you can't go wrong either way, I guess.
You can't.
Rosamano, once again, the 0-2. Curveball tipped off the end of that. Ryan doing a good job staying alive here. But it's not easy. You're down on the count with 2 away and 1 on. Though the Oaks trying to sit comfortably with this 1-0 lead, though a 1-0 lead is certainly not safe, especially for a Saints team that at the core of their order is hitting very well, and they have the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up in the next inning. Oh, 2. Called strike 3 on the outside corner, and that ends the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base by the way of a hit by pitch for Chase Cockerell. And we're through 3 full now here at Sparky Anderson Field. The Oaks lead, 1-0. To the top of the 4th we go after this on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Here in the top of the 4th inning, the Oaks up 1-0. Cooper Williams, Tristan Peterson, and Christian Moya due up here in the inning. And for all the action in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings, my broadcasting partner, Jordan Browner.
Thanks, Jonathan. Cooper Williams, as you mentioned, leads off against Eric Ma, takes a splitter in there for a strike, and how about that? Almost a Eufus pitch at 68 miles an hour on the outside corner. 0-1. Williams struck out looking back in the 1st inning. And here's the 0-1 pitch. Another splitter swung on and missed. Williams, a big guy out of New Mexico State, hitting .222 this year. Takes a fastball up and away from Ma, 1-2. Williams only 1 extra base hit this year. He's also driven in 1 runner. Ma gets his sign, kicks, and offers. Splitter swung on and missed. Filthy for the strikeout. Williams goes down for the 2nd time today. That's Ma's 2nd strikeout.
And Williams' 2nd strikeout as well.
Designated hitter number 8, Tristan Peterson.
Next batter, Tristan Peterson.
And in the 4th spot, you're in there to try to make contact with the ball. It may not always hit home runs, but to at least get on base. To strike out twice is not a good sign.
First pitch taken low and away, 1-0. Tristan Peterson, 133 on the year. Struggling so far. No home runs. Swung on and missed. Foul tip back into the glove of Vitt. 1-1. Peterson also has 1 RBI on the season. And it makes sense. Not a lot of run production for a team that has struggled mightily so far. The 1-1 pitch taken down and away. 2-1. The Oaks lie, 2 games ahead?
Yeah, 2 games ahead of the Saints right now in the standings.
And the Oaks, by all means, have not played their best ball either. The 2-1 pitch scorched out to right field pretty deep. Over to the track, Spears makes the play with about 2 feet to go to the wall for the 2nd out of the inning. Next up, Christian Moya out of USC. Struck out looking back in the second inning. And Eric Mont cruising right now. 5 straight outs out of the bullpen. Something we have grown accustomed to seeing. Showing bunt, lifted, left side, fit, slides, makes the third out of the inning. Great play by the catcher. And no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Here in the top half of the fourth, Oaks lead 1-0. You're watching Oaks baseball on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Rusomano back on the hill for his 4th inning of work. He's been effective so far today, only 1 run given up, 4 hits. He's done a good job stranding Oaks on base. He has stranded 5 runners, including 2 in the second inning where the Oaks got 3 hits. Michael Spears steps in, doubled his last time up, and scorches another one out to left field. That drops it, and over to the wall it goes. He goes to second base, should be a double. Will he go for third? No. Michael Spears, 2 straight liners to left field that both result in doubles. A beautiful swing, and he seems to be heating up, Jonathan.
Yeah, he went 2 for 4 yesterday. Pair of singles, a run scored, a walk, and another run scored. Today, 2 for 2, a single and a double. Whatever is starting to click with him after the 0-18 start to start the season with the Oaks, it's working. Something has clicked, something has changed for him, and he has been absolutely stellar his last 3 games with Caneo.
Nice to see the bottom half of the order producing a little bit for the Oaks today. As Bryce Vitt takes the first pitch on the corner for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. Vitt out of Pierce. We had been pronouncing his name Feet all year long until he corrected us today. We'll call him Bryce Vitt going forward. He definitely deserves it with the production he has given this team as he lines one out of play to the right side. No balls, 2 strikes. He made the great diving play to end the last inning. A popped-up bunt by Christian Moya. He was ready for it. 0-2 offering. Lifted to right field, not deep. John Thomas makes the grab, but Spears will tag and head to third base. A productive out for Bryce Vitt, and the Oaks in position to tack on another.
And I think that was the plan. Go to opposite field, because regardless, if you get a hit or not, that should advance the runner to third base, and that's exactly what Bryce Vitt did. He didn't get onto base, but he flew out hard enough to right field to allow Spears to go from second to third, and that is textbook hitting right there. A productive out, and now the Oaks have a runner 90 feet away. And a 2-0 lead looks a lot better than a 1-0 lead, especially as we get into the middle part of this ballgame.
Will Pickett's up. He has struggled putting the ball in play. For hits, I should say. An 0.67 average. First pitch taken in the dirt, 1-0. Pickett's flew out to first base his first time up. But I will say for Pickett's, even though he's not hitting the ball very hard, his on-base percentage is in a great space. 360. Just got to start hitting it harder in play. 1-0 pitch. Takes an off-speed pitch away, 2-0. Pickett's, if he can, get the bat going a little bit, as well as his patience at the plate, he could be a dangerous part of this team. Coming off the bench, filling in for starters in the infield. The 2-0 pitch, taken again, 3-0, and that's what Pickett's does so well.
That's a curveball, and especially a 2-0 that many batters will swing at. Pickett has a great eye. He understands what pitches are coming at him, and for the most part, he doesn't strike out. He knows how to work the count. That is what you want, especially in the number 9 hole. The runner on third, this is a great spot for him to either work the count or get on base.
3-0 from Rusumano. Taken, ball 4 for Pickett's. He gets on first base. The Oaks, they're in business. Runners at the corners with an out. Sam Shaken next to dig in.
Yeah, for the top of the order now with runners on the corners. This is a good spot, especially for Shaken, who's 0 for 2 today, to get an RBI, regardless if it's by a ground out or a fly out or even just a hit.
Shaken faced a similar situation last time up. He flew out to right field and could not produce an RBI. Let's see if he can do it right here. First pitch, off speed, off the plate away. 1 ball, no strikes.
And I think the Oaks taking pitches here as we see a conversation about to take place on the mound. I think for the Oaks, taking pitches is their best friend now because they have the opposing pitcher shaken up. It looks like Coldy Walter, one of the... no, it's Matthew Troop, the pitching coach for the Saints coming out to talk. But when you're out ahead of these pitchers, when you're forcing them to throw you strikes, and when the strikes that they throw are being hit in the field, they start pitching around you, and the Oaks are recognizing that that's exactly what happening to Rusumano. He's pitching around these guys. Shaken was able to walk, and right here, Pickett was able to walk, and Shaken right here took that first pitch for a ball. Keep taking pitches. I think that's the key right now because you're going to probably either keep getting walks or get ahead in counts, and then you're going to get the pitches that you want to see that you'll hit into the field.
In fact, Shaken faced the exact same situation last inning with runners on the corners and 1 out. The 1-0 pitch. Taken inside, almost hit him. 2-0. No runs, 1 hit, an error for the visiting Saints. A run on 5 hits, an error for the Oaks. Got to start driving those guys in. Next pitch, the 2-0 offering. Runner begins to go, but holds back, and Shaken fouls one behind us. And out of play, 2-1.
The Bikers have vacated the softball field, so there is no longer a room for them to possibly get hit by these baseballs. I think that's a positive sign. Now these guys can foul balls more into the softball field and not have to risk hitting somebody who's riding a bike out there.
Yeah, the threat has been...
I don't want to say eliminated because I know that's what you were thinking too, but
yeah,
that sounds just very negative. Neutralized. There we go.
Thank you, Sean. Always on top of whatever we need him to do.
Our great producer, yeah.
Absolutely. The 2-0 pitch. First to throw over to first. Pickett dives back in safely. 2-1.
It's amazing how I was on the same wavelength as you right there. That was probably the first time all season that we were on the same wavelength there, Jordan.
I wish we were on the same wavelength more often because then I could, be on par with that unbelievable mind you have. 2-1, 1 out. Runners at the corners. The pitch taken up and in. Shaken. Wow. That must have...
Shaken him up?
Yeah, shaken him up. His mustache hairs must have backed up a little bit. They didn't want to get hit over there.
Whatever mustache hairs he has.
You can bring that up with him later on. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear it. The 3-1 pitch. Pickett's goes. No matter. Oh, it's going to be called strike 2. And jogging home from third base to score is Spears. That looked like ball 4. paused for a second behind the plate. He threw to second base kind of half-heartedly to, check on Pickett's. But I think everybody thought that was going to be ball 4. Either way, another run for the Oaks. Their second of the ball game. And now 3-2, 1 out for Shaken. Pickett's in scoring position at second base. The full count pitch, Rosamano peering in for a while, getting his sign. Now he'll step off. Clearly, he and Kerner were not on the same wavelength like us. And that.
Very few people are.
Here's the full count pitch. First a check of the runner, now the kick and the offering. On the ground left side, moving to his right. Colley, he doesn't even throw to first base. He's going to surrender Pickett's base hit. And the Oaks, first and second, 1 out.
Yeah, Shaken right there. Did a pretty good job. It was a slow roller out there to show up because Cali had to veer out of position and backhanded. They're going to give him an infield single. That's a good sign for the Oaks, finding ways, whether it be small ball or big hits out to the outfield, to get on base. That's something that they have lacked, the dynamic ability to get on base. And that is picking up here now as we hit the middle of June.
The outfield is relatively shallow. Trying to throw out Pickett's on any base hit. Lewis begins to swing at the first pitch. He holds up. 1-0. Lewis 0 for 2, a strikeout in the second. A ground out to shortstop back in the first. DHing today. You'll see him bounce around the infield. Sometimes a spot start at first base, third base obviously. And then DH and even left field occasionally. The 1-0 pitch. High fly ball out to right field. Not deep at all. Thomas comes in. Grabs it for the second out of the inning. And unable to tag from second base is Will Pickens. Lewis is not going to be satisfied with that. He has been in position to drive in some runners today, and he has just been unable to do it.
Yeah, and 2 of his 3 at-bats. He's had opportunities back in the second inning. There were runners on first and second with 2 outs, and he struck out. In this inning, runners on first and second with 1 out, and he pops out to right.
Elijah Alexander hit a scorching hot fly ball to right field, more like a liner. His last time up, but it was caught by John Thomas. His first time he reached base on an error by the second baseman, Chavez. First pitch into Alexander. Kicks and pitches. Hard ground ball down the right field line. It will be a base hit. Pickett's will score from second base. Shaken will head to third base. He's going to think about scoring hold of at third base. Elijah Alexander comes up clutch with an RBI double to right field.
Great play. How about Cooper Thomas, though, at first base? He was caught out of position, and he had to make a dive, as it looks like we're going to have a pitching change here for the Saints. He had to make a dive. The ball went off his glove into the deep part of right field. That allowed a run to come around and score. And this is the Oaks offense we expected to see right off the bat. It's taken them a little bit of time this season to finally explode, and finally some consistency brewing for this order.
Yeah, we're going to see a new pitcher. We'll get you that name in 1 second. We'll actually get you that name on the other side of the break. 2 on and 1 out, 2 outs for the Oaks. Runners at second and third. 3-0 is the score in favor of your Oaks. We'll be back for the bottom of the 4th inning's conclusion here on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. We're back. Michael Gomez, the new pitcher. Second and third for the Oaks, perhaps best hitter. He has been scorching hot since coming from Ole Miss just a few days ago. First pitch from Gomez, on the ground to the third baseman, fielded over to first on the overhand throw. Cockrell is thrown out for the third out of the inning, not before 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. 3-0 Oaks. We're through 4 full here from George Sparky Anderson Field on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Jerry Ramirez replaces Eric Ma, who was nothing short of fabulous today. 2 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout for the talented right-hander out of Whitman College. Jerry Ramirez, the new pitcher. First batter is Brennan McKenzie. He takes a pitch inside, 1-0. Ramirez, a 4.82 ERA, a whip just over 1 in 5 appearances this season.
Glendale City College product. Very good, though. He has a wicked 12-6 curveball that has absolutely stunned batters all season long.
McKenzie 1 for 1 with a base hit to left field. Kicks and offers. Slow roller left side. 1-1. Two runs in the bottom half of the 4th inning for the Oaks. They lead 3-0. 1-1 pitch, a big 12-6 curve, bounces in the dirt away, 2-1. 3 runs, 7 hits, an error for the Oaks. No runs, a hit, and an error for the visiting Saints. And I would venture that this is the best pitching performance we've seen in an early game so far this year. Maybe I spoke too early. McKenzie lines a base hit into center field. He's on first base with nobody out in the inning.
Yeah, but 2 hits through the first 4 innings, for all intents and purposes, is pretty good, especially because the Oaks pitching has had a slow start this season a little bit. This is only the 3rd game all season long, now in our 13th game, where the Oaks were able to score first in the ball game. They are 2-0 when they do score first, though, so maybe good signs to come if you're an Oaks fan.
Ramirez gets his sign, kicks and offers. Showing bunt is Shepard. He pulls it back, 1-0. Colin Shepard out of Miami, Ohio, the 3rd baseman. No official at-bats today, but he reached first base on the base on balls back in the 2nd. Kenzie, a big lead over at first base. Ramirez doesn't even check him, but offers a fastball on the outside corner. 1-1. Not a lot of wind today. There was a lot pre-game. You're seeing some big home runs to right field. The 1-1 pitch on the ground over to first. Fielded by West. He steps on first base, fires over to second base, not in time to get McKenzie. They had to apply the tag as West tagged first before heading to second base.
Pretty bang, though, so.
Right, but the tag had to be applied.
No, of course. But, again, bang, so it means it's hard. It's not a hard, or it's not an easy play to make. It's a hard play to make. West did all the things right, stepped on first, just couldn't turn the second one quick enough.
The bobble of the baseball prevented a double play there for Jerry Ramirez and the Oaks. First pitch, swung on and fouled off the left knee of Mitch Kerner. He's banged up. He'll take a few steps, walk that one off, get right back in there. Tough catcher. Grounded out on an unassisted G5 if you're keeping score back at home. Oh and 1 with one out. McKenzie off of second base. The Saints trying to get on the board for the first time today. The 0-1 pitch on the ground, past the diving glove of West. Rounding third and coming up to score is McKenzie. Tripping in right field is Spears. Sliding into second base is Kerner with an RBI double. A weird play. Michael Spears went to go field the ball in the bullpen in right field. Slipped. He may have hurt himself a bit. He seems a little bit shaken up.
Yeah, I hope he's okay. He took a bad spill out there in right. He slipped on the pitcher's part of the bullpen out there, and that's never a pitch on the slipped on the rubber, out there, and lost his footing, especially with cleats. You're not going to get a lot of traction on that rubber. Just went down. Nonetheless, got the ball in quick enough to try to minimize the damage.
The Saints getting one back here in the top of the fifth, showing some fight. And they got their guy, Drew Cowley, at the plate. Takes the first pitch off the plate away, 1-0. Cowley, who has been one of the most productive hitters so far this season for the Saints. Quiet day so far. A fly out to right field, a ground out to first base. 1-0 pitch, taken away, 2-0.
Looks like David Appleby for the Oaks striding out to the bullpen and going to get some warm-up opportunities before eventually coming in. We'll see how short the leash is here with Jerry Ramirez, tying runner at the plate.
2-0 pitch to the 355 hitter. On its way, on the ground, a little chopper over to Ramirez. He fields over to first in time for the second out of the inning. But advancing to third base, Mitch Kerner.
This is the guy you have to be careful about, though. Gabriel Chavez. He is 0 for 2, but he is stellar at getting on base. You see the infield, middle infield, at least playing a little bit further back. That can be a good thing, but also a bad thing because he's so fast. If he hits a ball deep into the infield, you can bet he'll likely beat it out for a single.
First pitch into Gabe Chavez. Called strike at the knees on a breaking ball. 0-1. Ramirez trying to minimize the damage that the Saints do here. The 0-1 pitch. Chopper over to second base. Ryan Fields. Does he have a play out first? No, he does not. The speedy Chavez beats it out. He's rewarded with a base hit and an RBI. And the Saints cut the lead to 3-2.
That's what I was saying. You never count out Chavez no matter where he hits that ball, because no matter what, he can beat you out. He is so quick, especially out of that batter's box. A lightning jump with some very quick wheels. He shows you right there why he's one of the best speedsters in the CCL.
Mitch Kerner came around to score. And John Thomas, the Saints' leading hitter, the next challenge for Ramirez. Throw over to first, not in time. Chavez slides back in safely. 2 runs on 3 hits so far in the inning. 2 runs on 4 hits overall for the Saints. Ramirez gets a sign, kicks and offers a fastball away. Vitt pops up, thinking about challenging Chavez over at first base, but thinks better of it and just tosses the ball quickly back to the pitcher. 3 runs, 7 hits, an error for the Oaks. They got 2 in the last time up. 1-2 pitch through the right side, a base hit. Chavez will head to third base. Hesitates for a second. The throw will not beat him. Runners on the corners, 2 outs, and it doesn't look like the Saints are done with this 2-out rally.
The Saints are hungry. They're on a bit of a losing skid. Also, rough one yesterday, 3-2 the Orange County Riptide, and now an opportunity here to try and even it up with the Conejo Oaks and their best hitter, Cooper Williams, stepping in. And you bet he wants to turn his day around after going 0 for 2 so far with 2 strikeouts. If he can get one out there, this game could change and all the momentum would be in favor of the Saints.
Yeah, Cooper Williams has not gotten off to the best start so far this year or in the game, but clearly a talented guy. First pitch, a big swing and a miss. 0-1. Williams struck out twice, once looking, once swinging. Trying to tie or even take the lead for the visiting Saints. Ramirez has given up 4 hits in the inning. The Oaks had given up 1 before he came in. 0-1 pitch on the corner away. 0-2. Good pitch from Ramirez. Looked like a changeup. 0-2. Runners at the corners. Chavez at third. Thomas at first. Williams digs in. Ramirez gets a sign and offers. Down and away. Good stop from Vitt. It was a good pitch. 1-2. Vitt gave the nod to Ramirez on the mound, telling him it was a good pitch, well executed. But Williams was not biting. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the offering. Curveball away. 2-2.
Good pitch, though, at 1-2. You're ahead of the batter. You have a couple of pitches to play with. You get him with the curveball, great. If not, don't worry about it. You still have 2 more balls to work with. And that curveball can't come back. You might go fastball here or even the changeup that he has and go back to the curveball if you still have another pitch.
2-2 pitch. On the ground over to second base. Ryan Fields toss over to Pickett's at shortstop. The Oaks get out of the inning. Not before 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We are through 4.5 innings from George Sparky Anderson Field. The Saints cut the lead to 3-2. We'll see if the Oaks can respond when we come back here on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Bottom of the 5th inning leads off with Bart West, the right-handed hitter out of USC. Michael Gomez still the pitcher on the mound. He got 1 out. That was Chase Cockrell in the last inning. Relieved Jonathan Russomano.
Bart West.
West, a flyout victim in the 3rd. Grounded out unassisted back in the first, takes the first pitch off the plate, 1-0. West has been one of the very big bright spots of this team early in the season. Entered the day with a .344 average. Oh, and he takes one off the back. Tosses his bat towards the dugout. He seems to be okay. He heads to first base on the hit by pitch. And though you never want to take one, as they hurt a lot, could be the start of a rally brewing for the Oaks. Tyler Ryan the next up. A base hit, a strikeout. 1 for 2 out of the University of Pacific. Second baseman, he's had a tough day there. A lot of balls hit to him. First pitch. Taken a little bit outside, 1-0. However, I would not blame him at second base. All of the plays that he has not been able to make. Guys like Jose Altuve or somebody else really good at second base. Name's eluding me right now. 1-0 pitch is lined into the Oaks dugout, 1-1. Somebody like Javi Baez, you know, those guys wouldn't be able to make those plays. 3 runs, 5 hits. 3 runs, 7 hits in error for the Oaks. 2 runs, 5 hits in error for the Saints. 1-1 to Tyler Ryan. West off of first base. He's getting an aggressive lead. The 1-1 pitch. Gomez offers. The runner goes. Lifted inside the infield. West will have to retreat to first base. Making the catch at first base is Cooper Williams for the first out of the inning. Michael Spears next up. He has been the most productive Caneo Oak so far today. Doubled back in the second. Doubled again back in the fourth. Also came around and scored. He's heating up for sure. Gomez gets a sign and offers. A little bit low and in, 1-0. Oaks started off the scoring back in the second inning with a run. Put up 2 in the fourth. But the Saints answering with 2 of their own in the top half of the fifth. 1-0 pitch. In there for a strike, 1-1. Has not been a great start of the season for either team. For the Oaks, a lot of people expected them to be one of the better teams in the CCL. The next pitch is taken at the knees, 1-2. The Oaks, you know, they're in 5th place. 4 teams make the playoffs. Still well within position to strike. And despite their struggles, right in the midst of things. West takes his lead off first. 1-2 pitch, swung on and foul tip back into the glove of Kerner. That's a strikeout for Michael Spears, who's retired for the first time today. First strikeout of the day for Michael Gomez. And Oaks, 2 outs with 1 on. Bryce Vitt, the next hitter. A base hit to left field in the second. Fly out to right field in the fourth. He's played some spectacular defense today. Throw over to first. Goes past the first baseman, Williams. West will head to second base. The Oaks now have a runner in scoring position, trying to answer the 2 spot that the Saints put up in the top half of the inning. Wind picking up out to right field. Action brewing in both bullpens. First pitch to Vitt. In there for a strike. No, just a little bit upstairs, 1-0. 91 on the clock for Gomez. Maybe some frustration after throwing one by his first baseman, Cooper Williams, and allowing West to get into scoring position. The 1-0 pitch. Sets at the belt. Here's the pitch. Fastball again, 89, down and away. 3-0. 2-0, excuse me. Outfield not deep. They will try and challenge West on at the plate if there is a base hit towards them. 2-0 pitch. Check of the runner, kicks and offers. Fastball sinks back to the outer half, 2-1. Good pitch from Gomez. He has a little bit of a sidearm action going on the mound, which you do not see often. But a lot of the best guys who throw good two-seamers can run it back to right-handed hitters. They have that sidearmish action. Same pitch, a two-seamer, bounced foul to the right side, 2-2. Kind of weird in baseball, when you throw more across your body, the ball will actually move back the other way, as that's what the spin happens. That's how the spin works. You know, I'm not a physics major. I don't know why that happens, but it does. 2-2, 2 outs. West off of second base, 3-2 in favor of the Oaks. Kicks in the pitch. On the ground to the third baseman, Shepard fields. Fires a bullet over to first to get hit by a step to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, and, one man left on base through 5 full, 3-2 in favor of the Oaks. You're watching Oaks baseball. Do not go anywhere on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Back in for the top of the 6th inning. New pitcher for the Oaks, David Appleby, out of the University of Michigan. Final line for Jerry Ramirez, only 1 inning. 4 hits given up, 2 runs, both earned, no walks and no strikeouts. Appleby has pitched to a 6.51 ERA in 4 appearances, 2 games started. Records 1-2. Has gone 9 2/3. First pitch from Appleby, a little bit inside, 1-0. And we weren't expecting to see Appleby until later this week, maybe on the weekend. Was dealing with an injured finger, a blister, I believe.
Yeah,
He said his finger exploded as the next pitch is lifted out of play to the right side to Tristan Peterson.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an over-exaggeration. The blister popped, but nonetheless, it felt like his finger exploded. And you look back on the game that it happened back on June 15th against the Catch last Friday, that 7-2 loss. He pitched pretty well, but that injury took him out early.
1-1 pitch, a little bit inside, 2-1 to Peterson, who has flied out twice. Once to center field, once to right field. 2-1 pitch from Appleby, kicks and offers. Inside, almost hit him. 3-1. Not how you want to start your appearance. Always like to throw strikes. Next pitch, fouled off into the Oaks dugout, 3-2. Appleby's last appearance gave up 5 runs, only 3 earned, in 3 2/3 on the mound. Next pitch, scorched on the ground, backhand by Shaken, fire over to first. Did he get him? Yes, he did. What a play by Sam Shaken at the hot corner. That ball was scorched. He had to go to the backhand, throw across his body. Wow.
We talked about it earlier, why Sam Shaken is probably the best defender on this Oaks team. A great backhand deep on the third base side. Turns around and just absolutely fires that ball across the diamond. He kind of wound up before he did to make sure that he got it quick enough. What a play out there at third base.
Christian Moya, the next hitter, takes a strike on the outside corner. 0-1. Moya 0 for 2. Strikeout looking, fly out. More a pop out to the catcher. That was the great play by Vitt. 0-1 pitch from Appleby. Hit high, not deep to right field. Spears takes a couple steps, makes the play for the second out of the inning. 2 quick outs for Appleby on the mound.
He's working quickly out there, and that's good, especially coming off of a little bit of an injury. To be able to work the count, stay ahead of these batters, and get them to either ground out or pop out. Exactly what you want coming back here for the Oaks in today's game.
Brennan McKenzie has been a handful for the Oaks starting or pitching. 2 base hits, 1 to center field, 1 to left field. He also has scored a run. First pitch, upstairs, 1-0. Off speed from Appleby. On deck is Colin Shepard. Kicking the pitch. Way outside and past the glove of Vitt. He's going to ignore it. The ball boy will retrieve it. That looks like Brandon Ponticelli.
Ponticelli getting his inaugural debut as the Oaks ball boy today after starting yesterday. Normally you see Jackson Simonsgard or one of the other Oaks pitchers, relievers. I believe Nick Ringcover is warming up in the Oaks bullpen, but today it's Brandon Ponticelli's turn.
2-0 pitch. Foul tip, back and out of play, 2-1.
The Oaks are planning to throw a lot of guys today. Head coach Shalise wants to get some of these guys more innings because this weekend is going to be a workhorse of a weekend with 2 days off. That gives most of these guys an opportunity to relax, rest, and every pitcher will be active on Saturday for the doubleheader in a very highly touted matchup against Healdsburg.
2-1 pitch on its way. Outside again, 3-1. Both bottom halves of the order have had pretty good days. Michael Spears for the Oaks. Bryce Vitt had a base hit. Pickett's got on base with a walk. McKenzie got a hit for the Saints. He lines one foul and out of play. Down the third base line, 3-2. Also, Colin Shepard walked. A double for Mitch Kerner. Nice to see some different faces getting involved on offense for both of these squads. It's been a good one so far. 3 runs, 7 hits, an error for the Oaks. 2, 5, and 2. The same categories for the Saints. The full count pitch. Down the left field line, drops for a hit. Heading to second base is McKenzie. Should be a double. His second hit of the day. Third hit of the day. He has been all over the place.
Yeah, Cockrell actually had some trouble out within the left. It hit off the base of the foul pole and ricocheted past him, but he was able to track it down and get it in quickly to allow only a double and no more damage after that.
Yeah, both 7 spots having big days for both of these teams. Spears in the 7-hole today for the Oaks. A couple doubles. Now McKenzie, 3 for 3, 2 base hits and a double.
And for McKenzie, coming into today, only had 2 hits in 22 appearances. The fact that he's already overmatched the amount of hits that he has coming into today is a good sign for this Saints team. 3 hits today, only 2 coming into the ballgame.
Tying run is on second base. First pitch to Shepard, down and in, gets away from Vitt. And McKenzie will head over to third, now only 90 feet away from tying this ball game. Shepard, 0 for 1. A ground out to first base. A walk back in the second. One and 0 offering on its way. Kicks and the pitch. Taken for a strike on the outer half, 88. A ringing fastball from Appleby, 1-1.
Appleby working now, trying to stay ahead of these batters. That's where he works best.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Down low, great block from Vitt, preserving the lead for the Oaks. If that got by him, McKenzie would have had no problem scoring from third base. So 2-1 count, 2 outs. Pearson for a sign. Here's the offering. 2-1 on the ground over to second base. Tyler Ryan moving to his left, makes the play. Underhand toss over to first base. West retrieves it for the third out of the inning. No runs on 1 hit. No errors, 1 left on base. The Oaks cling to a 3-2 lead. You're watching Oaks baseball on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Bottom 6, Pickett's, then Shaken, and then Brandon Lewis. Michael Gomez still on the mound. Pickett's 0 for 1, a walk, a fly out to first base. This is his third at-bat. Gomez gets his sign quickly on the rubber and offers. Fastball inside corner, called a strike, 0-1.
Already one of the rare times that we've seen Pickett's behind an account. He does a very good job normally getting ahead in counts, taking first pitch balls, and finding ways on base that not necessarily mean hits.
0-1 inside, 1-1. Pickett's digs in. Here's the 1-1 offering. Fouled on the ground, left side. Good diving spot. There's stop by the bullpen catcher for the Oaks. 1 and 2. They're always on their game down there.
It's funny, the second consecutive day that we've seen an opposing team have their entire pitching staff in the bullpen. Yesterday, the Foresters did it too, but every team coming to Sparky Anderson before that didn't do that.
1-2, taken, called strike 3 for Pickett's. He's down on strikes. First out of the inning. Gomez's second strikeout of the game.
Nice pitch right there. I think Pickett's was expecting something different because That was a fastball right at the belt over the heart of the plate. A 1-2 count, you're probably expecting something off speed and low. Pickett's didn't get what he was looking for and had to be sent back to the bench because of it.
Next up, Sam Shakin, 1-4-3, a base hit. Takes the first pitch down and away, 1-0. And for a while, for a few days it seemed, for a few games, every at-bat Shakin had, it seemed like he would get down 0-2. He has changed that, and he's been a better player for it. 1-0 pitch, high fly ball to left field, not deep. Brennan McKenzie under it, makes the grab for the second out of the inning, and Brandon Lewis will bat with nobody on and 2 outs.
Designated hitter, number 23, Brandon Lewis.
And I wonder, Brandon Lewis, you know, he's in a little bit of a mini slump. Obviously, our expectations are sky high for him, so a slump for Brandon Lewis is not the same as a slump for another hitter.
Yeah,
Does he feel any pressure with Chase Cockrell coming around?
No.
He wants to, you know, be the best hitter on this team.
No, they're teammates, and they know that.
First pitch, Lewis fouls it back and out of play, 0-1.
I think, if anything, it motivates him. I don't think he feels bad. I think he and Cockrell complement each other's games very, very well. They know that. Yesterday, we were coming up with nicknames for them. The Bomb Brothers, the Homer Homies, which is my favorite. I mean, these guys are pros already, and they're not even out of college yet. So, no, I don't think there's any disdain whatsoever.
0-1 into left field, a base hit. Brandon Lewis's first hit today. He's on first base with 2 outs. Elijah Alexander, a chance to do some damage in the 3-hole.
And he was up looking to get a hit. He swung at the first pitch, fouled it back the second pitch. He sees quick swing off the right shoulder, able to get into left field. And now Elijah Alexander, who's gone on base twice today, it's an opportunity to keep this inning alive here for the Oaks.
Absolutely. The 8th hit today for the Conejo Oaks. Small lead at first base for Lewis. First pitch to Alexander, ground ball. Gabriel Chavez tosses over to Drew Cowley for the 3rd out. The Oaks, 1 base hit in the inning. They couldn't make anything of it. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. 6 full have come and gone. 3-2 in favor of the Oaks. You're watching Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Back in for the top of the 7th inning. 3-2 in favor of the Oaks, and it is my pleasure to toss off the next 3 innings of play-by-play to my broadcasting partner and friend, Jonathan Rifkin.
And it is my pleasure to accept the final 3 innings of play-by-play for my broadcasting partner and friend, Jordan Brenner. Jordan, a great 3 innings. As always, Jordan will actually take the number 1 and game number 2 of the doubleheader on Saturday, the 6 o'clock game against Healdsburg. But for right now, we still have more baseball to play. The Oaks lead 3-2 here in the top of the 7th inning. Nick Rincover out of Glendale, the new pitcher for the Oaks, and Mitch Kerner, the batter for the Saints. Hacks at that one for strike 1. He's 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI double back in the 5th. And a ground out to third base back in the 2nd. David Appleby's day is done. 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts for the Michigan Wolverine. Kerner pops that one high and deep to right field, but way out of play. 0-2 the count. On the season, for Nick Rincover, he sports a number 16 on his back, 4 appearances, an 0-1 record. 4.16 ERA and 4 1/3 innings pitched. 2 runs, both were earned. 5 strikeouts, 2 hits. He doesn't have a pickoff, though. The only pickoff the Oaks have had this year, and the only pickoff the Oaks have had in the last 3 years. How about that stat? Toes the rubber, takes the sign, and offers the 0-2. Cracked out of play once again, and Kerner staying alive here, down to 0-2 in the count. Rincover, one of 3 Oaks lefties, though Jackson Simonsgard is not active. He will not be activated until July, coming off an injury.
And we all look forward to that.
Oh, absolutely. We'll give you plenty of stuff on Jackson Simonsgard down as the season progresses. The 0-2, another foul tipped back.
Jackson, one of the more interesting personalities on this Oaks team. Always love talking to Jackson.
We had him on an interview here last week. We'll get him on another interview once the season progresses a little bit later. Always a pleasure having him on. But the other lefty, John Vergara, the Oaks have a trio of them. It's the 0-2 pitch. It's a slider on the outside corner, called strike 3. Kerner didn't like it, but there's nothing you can do about it at that point. Strikeout number 1 here for Rincover on the first batter he faces in the 7th inning.
And Angus Denton in the bullpen warming up. Let's call him Angry Denton because he makes batters very angry when he gets them out.
Which is every batter he normally faces.
Yeah, he is a cloud of darkness to the other team.
Nonetheless, the first pitch into Drew Cowley is taken at the knees for strike 1. Out of the leadoff spot, 0 for 3 today. A couple of pop-ups and a ground out to his name. I'll give you a reiteration of the Oaks field here after this pitch as the lefty-on-lefty matchup persists. Rincover deals the 0-1. Slow pitch, swung out and missed for strike 2. From right to left out in the outfield, Michael Spears, Elijah Alexander, and Chase Cockrell. Bart West at first, Tyler Ryan at second, Will Pickett's at short, Sam Shaken at third, and Bryce Vitt behind home plate. 0-2 count here. The southpaw delivers. Swung on and missed. Cowley goes down swinging on 3 straight pitches. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Mr. Cowley. Out number 2 here in the top of the 7th inning.
Nick Rincover, how about this? 2 straight strikeouts to start off the inning. You know, the Oaks, obviously they have Vergara, the left-hander, who's really good in the bullpen, but just so important to have 2 good lefties in the bullpen. The Oaks are going to benefit down the line.
Chavez digs in, slaps that one into shallow right field, though Spears making his way to it and makes the catch. For out number 3, a quick inning here in the top of the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a pair of strikeouts as the Oaks lead 3-2. It's time for the 7th inning stretch. Get up, stretch, and relax, because when we come back, the Oaks will be on offense right here on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. back here. Bottom of the 7th inning. I hope you enjoyed the 7th inning stretch. No matter how you're watching or where you're watching, we appreciate you making us a part of your Wednesday evening plans. The Oaks up 3-2 for Chase Cockrell. A couple of switches here in the field for the Saints. New catcher is Bennett McCaskill from Dartmouth. New pitcher on the mound coming in place of Michael Gomez is Reed Osborne from Howard Junior College. Right-handed pitcher offers the first pitch low to Cockrell for ball 1. Michael Gomez's day, 2 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. The Oaks have 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, 2 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Saints. Towing the rubber and offering the 1-0 is Osborne. Almost hits Cockrell, who was already hit by a pitch earlier today. Ball 2. He's 1 for 2 on the day with a single, hit by pitch, and a ground out. Osborne towing the rubber, working quickly here, from the stretch. 2-0, popped back off the screen. 2-1 the count. For Osborne in 6 2/3 innings pitched, which is second on the team. 2.7 ERA. Only 2 earned runs in those 6 2/3 innings pitched. Offers the 2-1, up and in, 3-1 now. 87 miles an hour. You can pitch between 86 and 89. We'll see if he can hit 90 today on the radar gun.
I think he actually had one at 91.
Oh, did he?
Already, yeah.
So I must have missed that one, yeah. Now you can tell with the long extension, the high windup, the 3-1, though, slapped to right field. Thomas making his way, and that's going to drop for a single. Chase Cockrell does it again, his second hit of the day. And he leads off the 7th inning, getting on first base here for the Conejo Oaks.
When you're going right, hits drop for you.
When you're Chase Cockrell, hits drop for you.
There you go. Same thing when you're going right.
Right.
Chase Cockrell. Those 2 words are the same.
Art West stepping in now 0 for 2 for the USC Trojan, though he has space by way of hit by a pitch back in the 5th inning, though he was stranded on first base. Actually, he was stranded on second base. Nonetheless, though, the Oaks couldn't bring him in. The 0-0, a strike at the knees. Pretty interesting game, back and forth almost. The Oaks struck first in the bottom of the 2nd, and they mustered up 2 more in the bottom of the 4th. The Saints responded for 2 of their own in the top of the 5th. Neither team has scored thus far since. The 0-1, a curveball low and away, evens the count. And that curveball is at 72, so have a pitcher who can throw between 88 and 91. And to throw a curveball between 70 and 75, to change up your speeds like that is really dangerous. I think Osborne knows it too as he offers the 1-1. West chops it over to short. It's cut off though by Shepard out of third. He tosses over Chavez to get the force runner. I think that if Shepard allowed that ball to be played out to short to Cowley, that would have been able to turn 2. But nonetheless, a fielder's choice 5-4. Puts a runner on first and 1 away. And that brings up Tyler Ryan now. On the day, 1 for 3, a single, a run scored, the first run of the ball game, a strikeout looking and a pop out to first base from the University of the Pacific. A Tiger who has really unleashed here in the last couple of ball games. Takes a couple of practice swings, shoulders at bat. Osborne ready on the mound, deals the first pitch, low and away for ball 1. Cockrell on first, 1 away. The Oaks are 1 hit away for hitting into double digits for their 2nd straight game. Before yesterday, they only hit into double digits once. That pitch fouled back against the screen, evens the count now. 1's across the board, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away, 1 on. Yesterday, they out-hit the Foresters 13 hits to 10, but the Foresters ended up winning 6-5, mostly due to the fact the Oaks only walked twice and gave up 9 walks throughout the ballgame. Reed Osborne from the stretch offers the 1-1, a curveball that misses outside, 2-1 the count. Nice pitch there, though. Tyler Ryan was not offering at it. That one cracked down the line. Two and two the count. Not a lot of speed over at first in the form of Chase Cockrell. But he can get around the bases. I do believe Tyler Ryan broke his bat on that foul ball. And retrieved a new one from the dugout. That's the second broken bat that we've seen from the new shipment that the Oaks received. But the way that they swing the bat, they swing it hard. I'm not surprised that we've seen a couple of shattered bats so far today.
It happens.
Shadows begin to grow long here, as we are 1 day away from the longest day of the year and the summer solstice tomorrow. The 2-2 offering. Slapped over the third, but out of play. We'll do it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Oaks already have a game called Due to Darkness. That was on Saturday in Southern California, where the catch play, well, obviously in Southern California, but in La Mirada, I should say, for the SoCal catch. It was 4-4 going into the 10th inning. They called it. The rest of the game will be played out on July 6th. Last thing the Oaks want is another game to get called due to darkness, because that's just more games you have to worry about. Osborne deals the 2-2. A curveball waved at and missed for strike 3. Ryan goes down swinging. The first strikeout on the day for Osborne puts out number 2 up on the board here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Runners left on base have been a motif for the Oaks all season long, and an Achilles heel for the team as well. So far, they've left 7 runners on base, with an opportunity here to possibly leave another one. Though the Ole Miss Rebel Michael Spears steps in with his Ole Miss teammate, and now Oaks teammate Chase Cockrell at first base. Spears is 2 for 3 today. The first pitch to him is a strike on the outside corner. Nice pitch there from Osborne. And my mistake, it's actually Bart West at first base. Chase Cockrell was out on the fielder's choice earlier, as that pitch is slapped foul, 0-2 the count. Cockrell did lead off with a single to right, but then Bart West reached first base by way of a 5-4 fielder's choice. Tyler Ryan struck out, and that's where we have left the inning so far. No runs in the round in the inning. 0-2 count here to Michael Spears. Osborne, wide stance from the belt, offers the 0-2. Waving curveball, slapped over to right. Thomas, just shy of the warning track, makes the catch for out number 3. No runs, a hit, no errors. 1 left on base. We're through 7 full here from George Sparky Anderson Field. The Oaks up, but only by a slim margin. It's a 1-1 ball game. The Saints looking to try and come back in the top of the 8th right here on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Top 8 here at George Sparky Anderson Field on the campus of beautiful Cal Lutheran University. Welcome back, everybody. Jordan Brenner, myself, Jonathan Rifkin on hand with you. Sean McKinnon, our producer for today's game. Gabriel Chavez, check that. John Thomas, actually, will lead things off here for the Saints. In a one-run ball game, Nick Ringcover back out there for his second inning of work. Pitches that one outside for ball 1. Thomas is 1 for 3 on the day, reached on error, grounded out, and singled in his 3 trips. Couple of defensive switches for you for the Oaks. Give you in a moment. The 1-0 pitch paints the outside corner for strike 2. Check that. 1-1 the count, actually strike 1. Coming in and playing third base is Tanner Wright from Cal Lutheran. Moving from third to short is Sam Shaken. And from short to second, Will Pickett's. Tyler Ryan is now out of the game. 1-1 pitch, waved and a miss for strike 2. 1-2 the count. And Ringcover trying to pick up right where he left off, where he got a 1-2 inning back in the 7th, including 2 strikeouts.
Angus Denton still warming in the pen. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw him.
1-2 pitch, called strike 3 on the outside corner. Ringcover is dealing so far his 3rd strikeout of the ball game in the first 4 batters he's faced. Angus Denton could be put in a safe situation if this ball game remains close. He is 1 for 1 on the season in saves. Cooper Williams stepping in now, a pair of strikeouts and a ground out to his name today. Led the team in batting average, though I have a feeling that'll change if he fails to reach base. Takes that pitch at the knees for strike 1. The power hitting first baseman from New Mexico State facing a lefty here. The lefties in the lineup today for the Saints were pretty good up until this moment when Ringcover has taken over. Slider misses up and away. 1-1 the count. Hope everybody's enjoying their Wednesday evening. Temperature begins to cool a little bit more, now under 70 degrees, 68 to be exact. Wind 2 to 3 mile an hour gusts out to right. That pitch misses upstairs, 2-1 the count. Day off tomorrow for the Oaks. They'll head up to Healdsburg on Friday. Doubleheader on Saturday, a game at 10 a.m. on Sunday. Then back home for a game on Tuesday. 2-1 pitch is low for ball 3. For the Saints, they'll play at home tomorrow against the Ventura County Bucks, the CCL affiliate. Then they'll have a day off on Friday before opening up a 2-game road series against the Santa Barbara Foresters. Foresters team that is still undefeated, 10-0, 7-0 in the CCL. 3-1 pitch misses away, and Cooper Williams will jog over to first on a 5-pitch walk. It's only the 2nd walk given up all game by the Oaks. That is a great stat, because especially after yesterday where they gave up 9, the fact that they're able to only give up 2 so far through the first 8 innings, not too bad, as head coach Shalisa is going to stride out to the mound. We'll see here if he calls Angus Denton's number. Denton looming out in the bullpen, and he's going to talk to his entire infield. Indeed, he will. So the Arkansas closer will stride on in here with 1 away, 1 on in a 3-2 ball game. The Oaks leading. When we come back, the final line for Nick Ringcover. Everything you need to know about Angus Denton and the rest of this 8th inning right here on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. back here in the top of the 8th inning with one away and a runner on in the form of Cooper Williams. Angus Denton from Arkansas in his second season with the Oaks takes the mound. The stunning closer has been nothing short of perfect this season, and he literally has been perfect. Denton, 1-0 record, 1-1, 1-for-1 in saves, is a 0 ERA to lead the team in 5 2/3 innings pitched, only 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. And he'll look to complete the 2-inning save here. The 0 into Tristan Peterson is taken inside for ball 1. On the day for Peterson in the 5th spot, 0 for 3, 2 flyouts and a ground out.
Denton looking for the double play here.
1-0 pitch, up and in, ball 2. The side armor, 1 of 2 for the Oaks, the other Joe Torres.
Well, I would argue ring cover's almost sidearm from the left side.
But I think he releases out over his body as that pitch misses inside 3-0. Denton's almost a submarine pitcher.
I agree with that. A lot of similarities between Denton and Torres. Both have really fine command of the zone.
Torres is warming up in the Oaks bullpen, though. I don't think we'll see him.
Yeah, probably just some work.
Yeah, just some work. He went yesterday against the Foresters in a stellar outing for him. The 3-0, a strike over the heart of the plate, 3-1 the count. Angus Denton throws a fastball, a slider, and a changeup, all very hard to hit. And that is why he's one of the most feared CCL pitchers. 3-1, a strike at the knees, 3-2 the count. Worked his way back into this one. Peterson in the 5th spot. Cooper Williams looming on first base. Represents a tying run. Then trying to get the double play. A payoff pitch, up and in, ball 4. Peterson walks, and that brings runners on first and second now with only 1 out for Christian Moya, who on the day is 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a pop-out, and a fly-out. Trying to change his fortunes here, and what a difference that would be as we see a pinch runner. Looks like Jack Smith from Arizona State coming in place of Tristan Peterson. Got some more wheels out there. The potential go-ahead run at first base.
Coming up pitch run for the Saints from Arizona State, number 13, Jack Smith.
Smith is very fast. He's 2 for 2 in stolen bases on the season. Moya steps back in. Did not record a hit in a couple at-bats with USC this past season. Denton checks the runner at second and deals the first pitch, a strike over the heart of the plate. Doesn't get shaken very easily. He's always very composed out there on the mound. He goes through his rotation, the fundamentals, and at the end of the day, he just pitches. He doesn't care about what happened in the last at-bat or what's going to happen in the next at-bat. That pitch glides away, 1-1 the count. He's just worried about the here and now, the pressure present, if you will, and that benefits him as a pitcher.
Last time I saw Angus, I don't know if he pitched on Sunday when I wasn't here, but he did not. So the last time Angus pitched.
That 1-1 is down into right field. That's going to be good for extra bases and maybe the lead. Williams comes around third. Behind him is Smith. No, the throw comes in quickly, and instead of this game switching hands, it is all knotted up on the RBI double by Christian Moya. But what a throw out by Michael Spears to make sure that that run did not come around in the form of Jack Smith for the Saints to take lead.
And I was just about to compliment Denton's last performance. He retired the side on 9 pitches, and he was 1 strike away from an immaculate inning. He came in, he faced some immediate trouble, a runner on, and he has not been as sharp as Saturday.
First pitch into Brendan McKenzie is a strike. He's 3 for 3 today. A pair of singles, a run scored, and a double. So this is the guy you want up if you're a Saints fan or if you're the Saints in general, because a high fly ball or a grounder to the right side of the infield as the infield is playing in could give you the lead. The 0-1, foul tipped back on the slider. Denton is out ahead 0-2, and you know he's itching for that strikeout right here.
Yeah, I'd say he needs to go back to the slider here. You know, he was McKenzie was clearly out in front of that last one. If he can locate a slider well, maybe down and away, I think his chances are pretty good to get a K.
The Saints have made this a ball game. They are down 3-0 early and have fought their way back. That pitch just misses low. 1-2 the count on the fastball. Denton very methodical. Locks eyes with Vitt. Runners on second and third looming. Smith at third. Moya at second. McKenzie waves that bat. The 1-2 slapped over to third. Checked over by Wright and fires it over to first. That's the next best case scenario besides a pop up into the infield or a strikeout. Puts 2 outs up on the board now. Heads up play by Tanner Wright to check the runner back to third before making the play to first base.
Yeah, it was, and it was also a heads up play by Peterson on third base to not get nabbed at the plate. Had he gone, the threat would have been, or the threat to score would have been pretty much neutralized. And excuse me, that is Jack Smith, who has come into the game as a pinch runner.
Colin Shepard now stepping in. He's 0 for 2, a walk and a pair of groundouts. Takes that first pitch low for ball 1. 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for the Saints. 3 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Oaks. Joe Torres no longer throwing pitches out in the bullpen. We'll see how short the leash is here on Denton as that pitch is fouled back. 1-1 the count. By the way, that run that came around to score for the Saints was the first earned run that Denton has given up all season long, now in his 7th inning of work. Not a bad stat, though. You know he's upset about that one.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it had to come in a ball game as close as this one.
1-1, a strike on the outside corner at 87. 1-2 the count. His fastball goes between 84 and 88. Changeup is in the mid-70s. That slider also hits the low to mid-70s. And it's about placement. He keeps his batters off balance with the placement of his pitches, not necessarily the speed. 1-2 pitch, misses and gets away from Vitt. Coming in and scoring is Jack Smith, and the Saints take the lead just like that. It's 4-3.
I was literally just about to say that, Jonathan. Watch for, Denton with 2 strikes. He likes to bounce sliders in the dirt. Vitt had to be very careful, and he couldn't block that pitch. And pretty shocking. The Oaks surrendered a 3-run lead. Now they trail 4-3.
The 2-2, cut over to third, right on the second hop, underhands it, fires it to first, and beats him by a step for out number 3. And nonetheless, 2 runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. The Saints lead 4-3. The Oaks will try to get that run back and more on the other side of the 8th inning when we come back right here on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Bottom of the 8th inning in a tight ball game. The Saints, who were trailing 4-2, were able to put up 2 runs and take a 4-3 lead. The Oaks are trying to fight their way back now. Bryce Vitt will step in here. He's 1 for 3 on the day with a single, a fly out, and a ground out. Reed Osborne back on the mound for his 2nd inning of work. Will try to stifle this Oaks offense. The Oaks have yet to give up a lead late in games this season. This has been the first one. The first pitch is swung and a miss for strike 1. Fastball at 91 miles an hour. Osborne can throw.
Oh, yeah.
Towing the rubber, twirls that ball. Pearson fires the 0-1. In the dirt, evens the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. One pitch, low and away, but called a strike. 1-2 the count. 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors for the Saints. 3 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Oaks. Bit from Pierce taking a couple of practice swings. One of 3 Oaks catchers. The 1-2 in the dirt, evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Oaks may get a 4th. Though we are not at the liberty, unfortunately, as much as I would love to share the information of sharing who it is, though I'm allowed to say that the Oaks are possibly waiting on a 4th catcher, which could be a huge difference in this offense. 2-2 pitch, misses low, 3-2 the count. Vitt staying patient here, working Osborne. Osborne needs to go back to that fastball, I think, and try to get Vitt out behind it. Payoff pitch. Fastball lined up the middle and into center field. Bryce Vitt is on here in the bottom of the 8th inning here for the Oaks. Represents the tying run as Will Pickles will stride in.
And I think we're going to see a pinch runner.
Yeah, Michael Tillman from Pierce is going to replace his Pierce College teammate. The Oaks will have some speed on the base paths now, and even more of an opportunity, maybe even for a hit and run, a bunt, maybe. But no matter what the call is here from the dugout, this is a good spot for the Conejo Oaks, trying to fight their way back now after being up most of the ball game.
I think a sacrifice bunt is the play here. Shane has not been swinging the bat very well. A sac bunt still gives you the opportunity to take pitches and draw a walk, which Pickett's is good at. And also, you obviously get a runner in scoring position.
Pickett's 0 for 2 on the ball game. He does have a walk and a stolen base. The first pitch, he shows bunt, pulls it back as that ball is low and away for ball 1. Michael Tillman over at first has yet to steal a base this season, though he does have some wheels on him. We'll see if Bryce Drew or Zach Kamenko comes in the top of the 9th in the place of Bryce Vitt in catching. Steppen had a half lead off of first base for Tillman. He's headed to Cal State LA in the fall. Pickett's slices the 1-0 pitch right back to us. 1-1 the count. And even though there's a screen here, Jordan Brenner, I saw you flinch.
I wasn't flinching. I was trying to make the play.
We'll call it that. How about that?
Sure.
1-1 count here to Pickett, sporting the black and red Pierce Junior College helmet, playing in front of his father, Bill, who was a head coach here for the Conejo Oaks in their inaugural season in 2006. The head coach at Pierce Junior College, also an alumni from Cal State LA, was drafted back in the 80s. The 1-1, Tillman goes, popped out, and into the parking lot, though. 1-2 the count. That pitch at 91 on the gun.
And unfortunate because Tillman had second base stolen. That was a great jump over at first base. But, I mean, Pickett didn't know. He got a pitch to hit. You can't blame him for swinging.
And the hit and run, I think, was on regardless. As the sun is slowly beaming down behind us. The Bikers are back on the softball field, by the way, if anybody was wondering. They had their little route around the Thousand Oaks area and came back. Osborne deals the 1-2, low and away, 2-2 the count. And that sun is really hard for that right side of the field right now. As you see, we can get a close-up of Kyle Jones, the Oaks first baseman, and that first base umpire. They're trying to block out the sun because it's so hard to see if the Oaks can get one out to right field. John Thomas might have some trouble with it, or even a pop-up over to first.
Yeah, we're about 5 minutes from these shadows affecting the Oaks hitters.
The 2-2, cracked up back up the middle. Osborne fields it over to Chavez, and he mishandles it. Another error in the field for the Saints, their third of the ball game. Puts runners on first and second with nobody away. And the big batter, Sam Shakin, stepping in.
That might be the most costly error that you could make in that situation, putting 2 on, nobody out, with Murderer's Row coming up, really. Shakin, Lewis, Alexander, and Cockrell. The next 4 up, due for the Oaks. This is their time to strike. This ball game, it looks like the momentum is on the Oaks side.
The Oaks had to fight back from a 1-run ball game, or to make it a 1-1 ball game yesterday, but regardless, they had to fight back. Here down by 1, tying runner at second, go-ahead run on first. Bottom of the 8th, nobody away. Sam Shakin, who's 1 for 4, stepping in. Last arrow was charged to Osborne. He gets a bunt down. That's a great bunt. Osborne fields it, fires it over the first, and Schaub is able to make the out. Nonetheless, though, that puts the tying run 90 feet away from scoring position. The go-ahead run 180 feet away from scoring position. And a sacrifice bunt, picturesque from the Valparaiso Crusader.
You love players who can play the game like that. Jacob, that might be the most valuable hit that the Oaks have all day. It's not a hit, but definitely an action by a hitter that puts the Oaks in prime position to get 1 and 2 runs in this inning.
And now there's going to be a conversation with the entire Saints field, as well as their pitching coach, Matthew Troop. And it looks like there's going to be a pitching change. Bobby Fulkerson from Southern New Hampshire University will step in here, and we're going to step aside. Runners on second and third. The Saints lead 4-3, 1 out. Don't go anywhere, and folks, because we're going down to the wire here in Thousand Oaks, California. You're watching Oaks Baseball on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. We'll be right back. Back here at George Sparky Anderson Field in an exciting ball game, bottom of the 8th inning. Bobby Fulkerson from Southern New Hampshire back on the mound. Reed Osborne's day is done in an inning and a third pitch. 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. And the big bat of Brandon Lewis stepping in. He's 1 for 4. Over at third base is Michael Tillman. Will Pickett's at second. Sam Shaken got them into the respective spots due to a sacrifice bunt. Bilu on the day, as I mentioned, 1 for 4. We'll look to add on to that total here as that pitcher's upstairs for ball 1. On the season for Fulkerson in 4 innings pitched, he has a 1.25 ERA. As he deals the 1-0 here to the UC Irvine Anteater. A slider on the outside corner called strike, 1-1 the count. Beautiful break on that.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful pitch. He's got a wicked curveball.
From the stretch, Bilu takes his time in the right-handed batter's box, and Fulkerson not working very hard on the mound, or quickly, I should say. Wow. He's probably working very hard, but not working very quickly on the mound. Nothing to take away from him. Another beautiful slider. Waved at and missed for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes now. And getting Brandon Lewis out would be a huge spot here for the Saints trying to salvage this one-run lead going into the 9th inning. Brandon Lewis, though, a fighter in the batter's box. Fulkerson towing the rubber. The infield playing in, trying to make sure that if there's a ball hit on the ground, which Lewis rarely does, they can try to stop that run from coming in and scoring. The team has to be careful, though, the Saints, that is, because if Belu can pop one up, which he does most of the time, deep enough to the outfield, that could score the tying run from third base. Fulkerson toes the rubber at the belt. Pearson fires the 1-2. Waved at and fouled behind us. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count remains as the shadows begin to cease here in the infield. They get very long in the outfield because the setting sun is in its waning moments before making an appearance on the other side of the world. Fulkerson once again toes the rubber from the stretch and offers the 2-1. Swung and missed. Lewis got a low fastball, couldn't catch it. That's the first strikeout on the ball game here from Fulkerson, and a big out, number 2 for the Saints.
The center fielder, number 19, Elijah.
That'll bring up Elijah Alexander now. Has reached base 2 times, though he's 1 for 4. And no, there's going to be he's going to go over to first base.
They're going to intentionally walk Alexander.
They waived Chase Cockrell. First of all, that's a mistake if you're the Saints. The last thing you want to do is pitch to Chase Cockrell. Secondly, I forgot that that's a new rule in the CCL this year. They adapted it to Major League Baseball where you can wave back to the dugout and say, we just want to intentionally walk the guy, save the pitches, and that's exactly what the Saints did right there, though. Again, I would say that may be a mistake because Chase Cockrell is the last guy possibly in the league you want to face. Was a finalist for the College Player of the Year, takes a strike at the knees. Bases loaded, 2 away, 4-3 ball game, bottom of the 8th inning. Only the second, or actually the third walk drawn all game by the Oaks. They've also given up 3 walks. Cockrell batted .324 for Ole Miss this past season. Fulkerson offers the 0-1. Low, evens the count. And Cockrell, who's adjusting his batting gloves, is very composed. We saw him in a lot of these spots last year with the Oaks. A stellar year for him, just batted under 300. Or batted just under 300. Nonetheless, he is no stranger to clutch situations. Bases all juiced. Fulkerson takes a breath. The 1-1 in. Fouled back, 1-2, and now Fulkerson is ahead in the count. That breaking pitch is really working for him here in this inning.
Yeah, it moves a ridiculous amount. If anybody could hit it, it's Chase Cockrell.
Cockrell taps the bag a couple times, twirls that bat and shoulders it. Fulkerson is ready. Everybody at the edge of their seat, the 1-2 offering here from the Southern New Hampshire product. Runs outside and evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I was tempted to swing at that one, and I'm up here. What a take by Chase Cockrell.
That's why you're up here and he's down there.
One of many reasons, I should add.
2's across the board now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, 3 on. Saints trying to hold on to this 4-3 lead. Fulkerson has the 2-2 offering. Cockrell swings and misses for a strike 3. Whipped that one in, and the base on balls ended up paying off nonetheless. Chalks up 2 consecutive strikeouts, and the Oaks strand the bases loaded. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 3 left on base. To the top of the 9th we go. The Oaks trail 4-3 right here on the Oaks Baseball Broadcasting Network. Bennett McCaskill will take his first rips here in the top of the 9th inning. Welcome back, everybody. In an exciting ball game, the Saints bases loaded situation, and we're able to get out of it and maintain the lead as Angus Denton is back out for his second inning of work. Pitches that one inside to McCaskill for ball 1. He comes in place of Colin Shepard. Shepard ends his day 0 for 2 as that pitch is a strike. McCaskill came into the field last inning. Plays his collegiate ball at Dartmouth as that pitch gets away. Actually foul tipped away, excuse me. 1 ball, 2 strikes. On the season so far, he has 11 plate appearances, but 10 at-bats. He's batting .200. A big spot here. The Saints trying to tack on a couple more insurance runs. The 1-2 gets away from Zach Kamenko, who comes in for Bryce Vitt. 2-2 the count. Also now into the game in place of Chase Cockrell in left field is Michael Tillman out of Pearson, going to Cal State LA in the fall. Denton gave up his first 2 runs of the season back in the last inning. Catches McCaskill swinging and missing for strike 3. His first strikeout of the ball game.
That looked like the changeup from Denton to the right-handed hitter. You don't often see him going to that secondary pitch because he usually doesn't need to. Stuff not as sharp today. He needed to dig deeper into the bag of tricks, and he was able to do it. Beautiful strikeout right there.
Mark Tyndall from Trinity College steps in here. Actually, Trinity University, Trinity College in Connecticut, Trinity University in Texas. He's from the university. It wasn't specified on the sheet. Nonetheless, Mitch Kerner's day is done. 1 for 3 and a big RBI double as that pitch gets away from Kamenko. 1-1 the count. Pair of pinch hitters here for the Saints. That pitch misses low and away, ball 2. Denton normally works very quickly on the mound. A little bit sluggish here in this inning. Gabriel Chavez, the dangerous hitter, waiting on deck. 2-1 pitch waved and a missed. Evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Denton trying to keep the lead at bay at 1. The 2-2 cracked foul back into the softball field. Narrowly misses a few bikers. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Saints have a couple pitchers warming up. Nobody in the pen for the Oaks. I'll let Denton try to finish out the inning and allow the offense to try to come back in the bottom. 2-2, 1 hopper over to short. Shake it. Over to West for out number 2. Shaken has been stellar in the field. He's played third base and shortstop today and is yet to allow a ball past. Well, there's 1 error all season long, and it was on a really tough play. Could have been ruled a hit or an error either way. Gabriel Chavez is now stepping in, 1 for 4 on the ball game, though he has an RBI single back in the 5th as he cracks that one foul for strike 1. Chavez, the first non-pinch hitter that we've seen in this inning here for the Saints. The 0-1, bunt is down, it's popped up though. Kamenko makes a sliding catch, hits Denton, but nonetheless secures the out. And this top of the 9th is quickly over. Denton retires, the Saints in order, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. 1-run ball game, the Oaks have one more opportunity to make it up here in the bottom of the 9th. The day is getting darker, but they're going to let it play out. 4-3 the ball game when we come back, the bottom of the 9th, right here on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Bottom of the 9th inning in an exciting ball game. The second consecutive night that we have had a nail biter here at Thousand Oaks, California, George Sparky Anderson Field. Fulkerson is back on the mound here, facing Bart West from USC, trying to complete the 2-inning save. The first pitch, low for ball. Well, no, it's called a strike. Not exactly sure where that call came from. That was well below the knees, but nonetheless, a late call from the umpire puts an 0-1 count up on the board.
It was just a bad frame from the catcher. I do think that got the knees.
Yeah, you're right. I think actually McCaskill may have let it drop. The 0-1. That one misses up and away, evens the count. So I guess you get an eye for an eye there because that could have gone either way also. The Oaks are out hitting the Saints 10-7, though the Saints have left fewer runners on base, and that's been the difference in the ball game. Both teams with 3 walks and 6 strikeouts. West cracks that one foul, out of play, 1-2 the count. By the way, Tyndall is now at short for the Saints, and McCaskill is the catcher. Drew Cowley is no longer at shortstop. The rest of the Saints field is the same. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the USC Trojan. 1-2 offering, back against the screen. We'll do it again. On the day for Bart West, in the first he grounded out to first, popped out to second in the 3rd inning, was hit by a pitch in the 5th, and reached on a 5-4 fielder's choice in the 7th. The Oaks lost 6-5 last night to the Foresters, and they had the game-tying run stranded at third base, trying to avoid the same situation here. Fulkerson deals the 1-2. It's sliced to left field, though. Not very hard as McKenzie veers to his left and makes the catch for out number 1. Chances now beginning to dwindle as Tanner Wright will get his first at-bat of the ball game.
Number 1, Tanner Wright.
Wright had a stint of 7 straight games hit safely. Was broken 3 games ago. He's still batting .286 on the season, though. 5 RBIs, 3 walks, only 1 strikeout. 1 strikeout in 33 plate appearances, as the first pitch is a strike on the outside corner. If you want a guy to get a hit or at least make contact with the ball, this is the man to do it. Solom strikes out, though right now you need him to get on base. The 0-1, another slider in there for strike 2. 2 consecutive sliders, both at 71, and both called strikes knee high on the outside corner. And you've got to bet he's going with the fastball now at 0-2. Fulkerson is absolutely dealing here. Offers the 0-2. A fastball slapped up the middle and into right center field for a single. Tanner Wright says, "You're going to throw me the fastball, I'm going to hit it." And the Oaks have the game-tying run at first base with 1 out. And Michael Spears stepping in.
Now batting, Michael Spears.
Spears is the guy the Oaks maybe want up in this situation. 2 for 4, 2 doubles, and a run scored. He's having a nice afternoon and evening.
They look to try to get the speedy Tanner Wright over at first base around. He is 1 for 2 on the season in stolen bases, though I don't think they'll risk it here. Maybe a hit and run. The 0-0 to Spears. Cracked foul, a fastball over the heart of the plate. 1-2 the count. Was a little bit out ahead of that and just tips it off the end of the barrel. Excuse me, no balls and 1 strike. My mistake.
11 hits for the Oaks, translated into 3 runs. They got to drive those runners in.
Fulkerson with a runner on first checks him. Pures and fires the 0-1. This is up and away, 1-1 the count. The Oaks so far, 13 runners stranded on base this game. Not a good sign. And that has been the Achilles heel of this team all season long. They left 11 last night on base. The 1-1. Misses up and in. 2-1 the count. Spears now ahead in the count, and that's good. Michael Spears working the count, forcing Fulkerson to try and throw him a pitch that he likes. Fulkerson fastball in the mid-80s, which is what most of these Oaks like to see. 2-1. Popped up to right field. Thomas making way at the warning track and makes the catch just short of the wall for out number 2.
Wow. So close to a happy ending. A good afternoon, good evening, good night. Send everybody home happy. Just a little bit under that one.
Michael Tillman stepping in now, and for the second consecutive evening, he has to do something that is very hard to do. Last night with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, he singled. He ended up being the tying runner left on base back in the bottom of the 9th inning when the game was over. Here he has to do the same exact thing. 2 away, tying runner on. And he has to find the clutchness that came around last night and do it once again here tonight. Pickoff attempt, nothing doing though for Wright as he slides back in safely.
Tanner Wright has to be doing whatever he can to get to second base. A drop ball, a pass ball, anything it takes.
The 0-0 misses away. 91 miles an hour on the gun, the fastest pitch that we've seen from Fulkerson so far in this inning. 1-0 the count to Tillman. Tillman was at Pierce, led Pierce in batting average this past season. He's headed to Cal State LA in the fall, committed a couple days ago. Fulkerson toes the rubber, the 1-0. A strike on the outside corner of the plate, 1-1 the count. And that's one to hit. A 73-mile-an-hour slider. You got to lift the bat off your shoulder.
Maybe. That was a nice pitch, though. A lot of movement.
Tillman has that high stance. Fulkerson with the wide stance on the mound from the belt. Right goes. That pitch is low, and there will be no throw. A stolen base, his second of the season for Tanner Wright. And that puts the game-tying run in scoring position. Tillman ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. And Chase Cockrell looming on deck. Actually, no, it's
Bailey Holbrook.
Bailey Holbrook, someone we haven't seen in 2 weeks. And he'll be put an opportunity, if this game continues after this at-bat, to try to give the Oaks the win. Right, jumping around second base. Fulkerson deals. Cracked back, though, against the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, runner on second. The Saints holding on to a 4-3 ball game.
Man, we're so fortunate to be able to see baseball like this the last couple days. Whatever happens, I know I'm appreciative.
In the waning hours of daylight on the second longest day of the year, Fulkerson toes the rubber once again, trying to get the final out here. Offers, right is off, and it's popped up, though, out of play. And Tillman is staying alive here and trying to keep the Oaks' hopes alive. Everybody on the edge of their seats so far.
The one thing about Tanner Wright is he's always looking to take the extra bag. The problem here is, I don't know, if I were hitting, and I'm seeing all this dancing going on off of second base, I might be a little bit distracted. But then again, I don't hit. Spears might be just fine with it.
Yeah, Tillman, 2-2. Half-hearted swing. Did he go? They say did, and this ball game is over. A slider had him nabbing. He tried holding back. He couldn't. And this one is finished. No runs hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. The biggest base runner of the game. The Oaks couldn't drive him in. They stranded a total of 12. Check that, actually 14. 8 total stranded on base for the Saints. The final line for you, 4 runs on 7 hits and 3 errors for the Saints. 3 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error for the Oaks. Total game time for you, 3 hours and 7 minutes. Jordan, the Oaks out-hit the Saints by 4. They committed 2 fewer errors, but at the end of the day, they couldn't get the win.
Yeah, yesterday they had more hits than the Foresters. Yesterday's problem, the defense and the walks. Today they cleaned that up a bit. This time they weren't able to get the clutch hits when they needed them. They put themselves in a position to, do some damage in the 8th inning and the 9th inning. The key to this game was the 8th inning where the Oaks stranded 3 runners. They left them loaded. Brandon Lewis struck out. Chase Cockrell struck out. It was surprising because those are your 2 go-to guys for the Oaks. This team, at times like these, you have to come together and be resilient, fight, because this season's far from over. Just because the Oaks aren't playing well, very well right now, does not mean they're not in for a run going forward.
Winning pitcher is Rita Osborne. The losing pitcher in his first loss of the season, Angus Denton. The save goes to Fulkerson, Bobby Fulkerson. It was a fun game. It was a long game. But in the end, the team that seemingly wanted it more in the end, the Arroyo Seco Saints, come away with the win. A great game for them, coming off a heartbreaking loss yesterday against the Orange County Riptide. The Oaks coming off of a tough loss, 6-5 yesterday against the Foresters. And once again, a similar situation tonight. They strand the tying runner in scoring position on a strikeout, and they lose 4-3. The Oaks will have a day off tomorrow and Friday. We'll be up in Healdsburg on Saturday, 3 o'clock for game number 1, tentatively 6 o'clock for game number 2, 15 minutes prior to each first pitch. We will have post-game for you right here on the Oaks Broadcasting Network. Until then, though, we're going to sign off. For everybody who made this broadcast possible, from the crews on both sides to my producer, Sean McKinnon, my broadcasting partner, Jordan Brenner, my name is Jonathan Rifkin, signing off once again the final. The Saints beat the Oaks 4-3. We will see you on Saturday. Until then, please enjoy the rest of your week.